This is Sports Sound
from BBC Radio Scotland.
Welcome to European Sports Sound with me, Kenny McIntyre. We're live from Ibrox on what is a massive night for Rangers. They, of course, go into the game on the back of a hugely disappointing start to the domestic campaign on Saturday.
It's in! It's in! Come on, I can't do the goal! Dreadful defending from Rangers. It's a phenomenal scoreline here at Rugby Park. It is Kilmarnock 1, Rangers 0.
It's been a really frustrating few days, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
The best thing for us is this game coming now, and all we can do is play the next game that's in front of us. We can't afford to look back, we can't afford to dwell on it.
Can Michael Beale's side find their mojo and take a step towards the promised land of the Champions League? Full commentary to come of Rangers against Servette right here on BBC Radio Scotland.
Rangers in the Champions League qualifiers.
Live on Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
There's no substitute.
Good evening and welcome from Ibrox. Kick-off here is 7:45. We're joined by Derek Ferguson and Kenny Miller. The all-important team news to come, guys, but some early thoughts on the importance of tonight's game.
Yeah, it's absolutely huge for Rangers here at Ibrox. Anytime there's a negative result in Glasgow, you need to bounce back. So this is a chance, and a perfect chance at that, in the Champions League qualifier against the Servette team, to turn up in front of 50,000 fans and show that that was a blip and a little bump in the road of the rebuild that Michael's put together. So yeah, full looking forward to the game tonight. It'll not be easy, and you'll need to see more of Rangers in an attacking sense if you're going to get the right result tonight.
Yeah, big test of the character tonight, Derek.
Yeah, obviously big reaction to the disappointment of Saturday night. So there's going to be a full house. It's a European night. There's an expectancy, that Rangers, at home against a team of the quality that they're playing, Servette, there should be no fear. They should be going at it, right from the off. They didn't do that on Saturday night. So this is a great opportunity. There are a few changes. We're obviously going to be touching on them, and there had to be, because if you look at Rangers on Saturday, it was pretty pedestrian at times, so looking for a little bit more pace, a little bit more vigour, a little bit more movement, certainly up top. I think Kenny will be better versed than me, to talk about that. But yeah, they were pretty kind of, the way Kilmarnock set up, Rangers made it so easy for them. So they're going up against a side, that are decimated with injuries and suspensions, and obviously one or two not travelling as well. So Rangers have got to make the most of this tonight, to get the fans back in track. And big night for Michael Beale, I think.
The Servette players are warming up down below us here. As Derek said, a lot of selection issues for them. We'll get the lowdown on these players from a Swiss journalist in a few minutes' time. But a big match commentator tonight is Rob McLean. And you can bring us the team news, Rob.
Yeah, Kenny, as Derek said there, the role's going to be changes off the back of what happened on early Saturday evening down at Kilmarnock. There are three of them for Rangers tonight. Ryan Jack is into the starting lineup to add some steel and some grit in that area. Todd Cantwell, well, I think a lot of people were surprised he didn't start on Saturday. He does start tonight, and the third change sees the Brazilian Danilo come into the attacking formation for Rangers. Those three changes. Out go John Lundstrom on the bench. Abdallah Sima is among the subs as well, and Kieran Dowell. Those are the three to make way. So it is Jack Butland in goal, a back four of James Tavernier, Connor Goldson, John Suter, Borna Barisic. The midfield three, Ryan Jack, Nikola Raskan and Todd Cantwell. Danilo and Sam Lammers alongside Cyril Dessert up front for Rangers. That is the starting 11 tonight. On the bench, Robbie McCrory and Kieran Wright, the two goalkeepers. John Lundstrom, Yanis Hadji, Jose Cifuentes, the Ecuadorian international midfielder. Sima and Dowell on the bench. Dujon Sterling is there. Scott Wright, Leon Balogun back for a second spell at Rangers, Leon King and Adam Devine. As for Servette, a few influential players missing for them. This is their starting lineup. Joel Mal in goals, with their first choice goalkeeper having been injured. He's missing. Mal starts. A back four of Nicola Vuillo, Steve Ruiwe, the captain, 33-year-old, experienced. Johan Severin alongside, and Bradley Mazikou at left back, the Congolese international. Timothy Konya in the central midfield area, very influential, very talented, alongside David Doulin. The wide players are Boubacar Fofana and Derek Kutesa. And up front, Jeremy, very good Scrabble name, Guimeno. Plenty of letters in that one. I'm reliably informed, Kenny. Guimeno is the pronunciation. He's alongside Chris Bedia. Those the strikers up top for Servette tonight. On the bench for them, they're two young sub-goalkeepers, Marwan Aubert and Leon Besson. Anthony Baron, Patrick Fluke, who got the 96th minute equaliser for them. They did what Rangers couldn't do on Saturday. They came back late and salvaged a point at Lausanne. Issa Kaloga on the bench, Ronnie Rodelin, Noah Onsho, Samba Diba, Tiamoko Uatara, Hussein Tuati, and their latest arrival, he's on the bench. There was a thought he might be into the starting lineup tonight. He's on loan from Eintracht Frankfurt. He's a Cameroon international, Jerome Ongwene. He is among the subs tonight for Servette. A Lithuanian referee, Donatas Rimšas, is the man in charge. Christian Dingert, a German, is in charge of VAR. Big game tonight. A mega game, as Michael Beale himself described it.
Yeah, really looking forward to this one, Kenny Miller. Your thoughts on that Rangers team? You's no surprise to see Todd Cantwell back in the starting 11.
Absolutely not. I think most Rangers fans, and definitely I was going into this thinking on Saturday that he would have been one of the first names on the team sheet how we finished off the season last year. But listen, a lot of new signings came into the building, and sometimes you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. There might have been maybe little niggly injuries, or maybe not had a great pre-season, but definitely was surprised not to see Todd Cantwell starting the game at the weekend, because he was so influential on that Rangers team in that last 8 to 10 games towards the end of last season. Obviously did get a decent number of goals in those games as well, so it's good to see him back in the team, because I think if he can influence the game tonight the way he did at the end of the season, and he's going to be a big player for Rangers moving forward. And Rangers need him to be a big player, to be honest with you, because Derek touched on it, movement, creativity in the final third on Saturday was not good enough again, so it's not surprising to see Danilo coming in, because he does look like he's got an injection of pace. He's got a dribbling ability, looks very, very sharp, so it's no surprise to see him going to be up there alongside Dessers, because again Dessers kind of cut an isolated figure on Saturday, so I'm sure he'll be happy to see a bit of help in Danilo up front with him. So yeah, not surprised to see changes. I think when you look at the defence, there's probably not too much that could have been done in that area of the pitch, but in midfield it's been a little bit revamped, and definitely up front where I feel, like Derek says, movement, kind of disrupting that Kilmarnock battle. It was all too easy for them on Saturday. Need to see something different tonight.
The Rangers players, Kenny, out for their warm-up. A bit of criticism about the style of play under Michael Beale. How would you describe it?
I think the style is... they finished the season so well. They're playing really, really well. Obviously, it culminated in that wonderful Old Firm performance here at Ibrox with a 3-0 win. And I think Rangers fans, with the revamp, with all the new signings, they expected to see actually it moved on a level. Well, sometimes it does take a bit of time. Unfortunately, in Glasgow, you're not going to get time, and particularly after that result at the weekend, they needed to see more. They needed to see more. They wanted hope coming into this season, that this could be a season at silverware, and again, mainly that league title could come back to Ibrox. Well, unfortunately, the performance never really reached the levels. I mean, I would say again, without making excuses, when you're playing on that type of pitch, it slows things up. You're probably not going to be able to play at the same tempo, the same intensity that what you could definitely hear tonight on this surface, which looks slick and absolutely sensational. Again, that being said, Rangers had to show more. They needed to have more movement. They needed to have more penetration. They needed to do more to ask questions of those Kilmarnock defenders to actually defend. It was all too easy for them. So the Rangers fans will be turning up here tonight expecting a lot more in an attacking sense.
Yeah, I spoke with Lee McCulloch. He was covering the game for us on Saturday night, Derek, and I said to him, he played some very good Rangers sides, some decent Rangers sides, some average Rangers sides, but on very few occasions, I'm sure, could he remember being in a Rangers team that was outfought by the opposition. That looked to me to be very much the case at Rugby Park on Saturday night. Yeah,
they looked as if they were playing within themselves. You look at you don't need to be running 30-40 yards. It's just little passages of movement, 5-10 yards coming off a defender, trying to make it easy for whoever's on the ball. I don't think they worked hard enough. But that's down to the managers as well. You know, he's put them out. You know, he wants them to play, and you talk about a certain style. But within that style and that setup, you've got to work. And I don't think they worked hard enough, you know, on that surface, which Kenny's touching on. Everybody has as well. You know, it's a tough surface to play on. It slows up. So you've got to work a little bit harder in terms of your movement. Going away to come short, but just there wasn't enough options for me, you know, and they were so easy to mark. And you know, the way Derek McInnes set up, you know, they found it so easy and broken Rangers numerous times. So they needed a change, and I think they need more pace, and they need to be let off the leash a little bit more as well. I just thought they looked quite restrained in the way they played, you know, as if they, you know, that at times there was an opportunity, you know, maybe for Lammers, maybe you're looking at Sima, you know, as a natural player, you know, didn't break at all into wide areas, and it just became so narrow, it became so easy for Kilmarnock to defend against. And but again, I'm looking at it, it's either they're not working hard enough, or else at times they've got to be a little bit more cute and a little bit more clever, and that's normally what you get from good players, you know, when they come up against stuffy defences, you know, their movement or their first touch or their one-touch football, and it just wasn't there. So I think Michael Beale has to take a little bit of ownership for that, because he picked a team to do the job. Evidently, as we know, it didn't happen, didn't work out. So he's got a second bite at the cherry tonight. He's made the changes. I'm glad to see. Obviously, Cantwell, we've just spoke about it. He's not just a flair player. He's not just a creative player. He works his socks off. But he's a one player you've got to have on your side, because he built up a great relationship with Raskin. The only disappointment for me tonight, you know, is I'd like to. I've seen Servette in there. You know, I mean,
a lot of talk about him.
Yeah, you know, and he's a powerhouse, and you know, good football player, breaks forward. I thought that might have been the three, but Brian Jack comes in. You know, he's obviously top player, but I like the partnership. I Cantwell and Raskin in there, but I'm also delighted Danilo's in. Danilo and Dessers. He's maybe not hit the ground running, but I'm glad he's got, because I think he needs matches, you know, to get up to speed. So they've got an opportunity tonight. So I'll be interested to see if these guys are going to take it.
Let's hear the thoughts of the Rangers manager Michael Beale. He's been speaking with sports scene presenter Stephen Thompson.
It's been a difficult few days because we had such a healthy pre-season in terms of the players that come in and the optimism and excitement around the club. That is the case, but obviously you play a game at Rangers and the result was really disappointing. It's a new group coming together. I still felt at the end of the first half we had one or two opportunities where I would expect us to do better, and obviously the goal disappointing, and it's been a really frustrating few days, as you can imagine. The best thing for us is this game coming now, and all we can do is play the next game that's in front of us. We can't afford to look back, we can't afford to dwell on it. I'm certain that we'll look back later in the season and still be disappointed at that result, but if it gives the right reaction to the group, then I think it can be a positive.
Looking ahead to the Champions League qualifier against Servette, don't know much about them myself. Have you looked at them? What are you expecting from Servette?
Well, the two games against Genk were very interesting. I watched both of the games obviously closely because we were already knowing it was one of those two teams. They finished second in the Swiss League last year. It was quite an open league. It's a league that I obviously know well. Young boys won it with Cedric Itten, our former striker, so it was a league that I'd watched a little bit. The game with Genk were a very, very good team, and I thought Servette showed fantastic mentality and discipline in the first game to stay in the game. They were dangerous on set plays. They've got some good forward players. In the second game, they have a man sent off early in the game, and their mentality and their work ethic was outstanding. So they'll come to Ibrox with that in the back of their mind, that they've beaten a very good team. And at this stage in Europe, all the games are difficult. It's important that our fans are up. It's a real proper night of European football at Ibrox. It's important that we also go and play on the front foot and excite the fans. And I think this game, like most games in Europe, will go to the second leg late in terms of the result being in balance, because there's not too much between any of the teams. No,
it's so important though to take a positive result into the away game, because as we know, the away fixtures in European football are extremely tough. They've sold out their stadium for the game next week. It will be tough, so it's important to get that positive result. I think for everybody, I think for the fans, we need to get the season started. And the season started at 5:15 on Saturday, but if you're a Rangers fan, player, member of staff, it feels like
we haven't started. So it's important that we start well in this game, we get the result. You're right, you go to Geneva next week, it's the first time they've sold out in nearly 20 years, so it's a huge game for them. We have to respect that, but this is a mega game for Rangers as well, for everybody involved in the club. We know we have group stage football guaranteed in one of the competitions, but we know what financially the Champions League can bring. And even getting through this game, the parachute payment you would get if you didn't win that next game. But our eyes are certainly focused on getting to the group stage and improving on last year's showing.
Yeah, and for the players, they don't need any more kind of motivation than knowing, because when you're a player, you want to play in the Champions League. That's all the motivation they need.
Of course it is, yeah, and if we need anything more, then the disappointment of the last few days is an extra push as well. But this is a game that we've been looking forward to all summer. When the draw was made, your close eyes on that game of Servette and Genk. Now we know it's Servette, our eyes are on them, and it's one game at a time. We need a positive result in both games. We need to we've got a big week coming up again against 2 weeks where we've got 3 competitions with the League Cup as well and the 2 European games, a really big home game in between. So what a time to be a football player. They've got to realise how lucky they are. I have to, no matter how tough some days are, we have to realise where we work, who we work for and how privileged we are. This is a fantastic time for me and my players, and we have to seize the moment and the opportunities that are in front of us.
Michael Beale there, Kenny. If there is such a thing as a honeymoon period for an old firm manager, he had that last season. There wasn't much expectation on him. He talked about changing the team, getting his own players in. He got the 2 in January. 9 signings this summer. He's been backed by the board, no doubt about that. How tough is it to make that amount of changes and make the team gel quickly?
It's very tough, Kenny, to answer the question. I mean, I think Ange Postecoglou was the exception to the rule a couple of years ago when he came in, and there was a big transition at Celtic, and he ended up with a double that year with the League Cup and the league. But Michael has to have that similar impact, you know, or his players need to have that similar impact, the guys that have came in, because Raskin and Cantwell hit the ground running straight away. First games, they were absolutely excellent, and they built towards a really strong end to the season. So you need to see at least, I'm going to say at least 3 or 4 of these new signings need to grab the jersey, and they need to improve that starting lineup, you know. So if they do, then they've got good players in the building already. That added to that, these 3 or 4 players that hit the ground running, they could have a really, really strong starting 11, and then it maybe just buys their other guys a little bit more time. But like you say, for Michael, time is a commodity you don't really get in Glasgow, particularly when you start the season like this, when you lose the game, the opening league game of the season, when there's been so much excitement building with the recruitment drive. So again, a really positive end to the season. So every Rangers fan's looking, right, this is going to be the year. It was a trophyless season last year, and it's compounded by the fact that Celtic won the treble, you know. So Rangers had to respond this year. They responded in the summer, like you say. Michael's been heavily backed by the club, the board, and he's signed the players that he wants. So they need to see and they need to see it quickly. They need to see these players performing and understanding what it takes to represent this jersey and everything that goes along with it.
Well, let's talk more about that, Derek, because there's no doubt I think Rangers need a fast start tonight, and you know what this place can be like. It can be electric, it's noisy, the fans are right behind you, but it can also be very, very unforgiving if Rangers go behind in this tie, particularly given the performance on Saturday. Again, going back to Lee McCulloch, he was quoting Walter Smith at the weekend, saying that there's a graveyard full of ex-internationals who couldn't cut it at Rangers, couldn't cope with it, the demands, the pressure. What's it like when you're out there when things aren't going well?
Well, Kenny, when I was at Rangers, certainly under Graham, the gaffer Graham Souness, I remember, I think it was 86, we lost our first game away to Hibs, 2-1. But it was in maybe the manner of defeat, because I thought we played pretty well that day. I think what we tried to show, or what the gaffer was trying to show, that although we had some great players in terms of international players that come up from England, they're ready to show they're willing to fight their corner, and I think that's why obviously Graham got sent off that day. So I can remember that, but we went on to win the league that year, so you don't want to press the panic button. But I think it's the manner of the defeat on Saturday night. You know, it was we went out with a whimper, to be honest with you. And you said earlier there, you know, do you think they worked hard enough? And so there's question marks, but that should be a given. You know, with this Rangers side, you look at the falling that they had down there, you know, surely, you know, if you're looking for, you know, something to give you that little bit of oomph, it's there. You listen to the fans. Now, this place is going to be absolutely bouncing tonight. If you can't get up for a game, you're not willing to give everything, then my God, you shouldn't be playing football.
But it's not everyone that can handle it, Derek. If the crowd turn here tonight, you've got to be a strong character to get through that.
Yeah, and that's what either makes you a Rangers player or not. You know, you've got examples, Kenny. I mean, I always touch on it. I touch my brother, you know, because when he was under pressure at times, what Barry did was he just puffed the old chest out, you know, and says, right, give me the ball, I'm going to show you, and you've got to be able to handle that. Some cases, some players don't, you know, and that's why you don't find yourself here for much longer. But when you're giving it your all, you're playing well, there's no better place to play. So they've got an opportunity tonight. And Michael Beale said on Saturday, you know, one game at a time, but the players have got the strip, they've got the jersey at the moment. It's up to them to keep it. Well, a few of them let themselves down badly. So we've got Cantwell's come in tonight, Ryan Jack's in tonight, Danilio's in tonight. You know, let's see how they cope with it, and let's see the performance that they can put in to get this crowd up, to get Rangers season underway. But as I says, I wouldn't have been panicking too much with a defeat, but it was the manner of the defeat.
Yeah, they've got to start quickly tonight, Kenny, haven't they?
I mean, they have to. I mean, if you go back to even when Michael was here previously with Steven Gerrard, that was a feature of their play. You know, they were right at teams, they were right out the traps, and particularly here at Ibrox, putting teams on the back foot. And I go back to the European run a couple of years ago when they reached the Europa League final. This place was unbelievable. You had big, massive European like superpowers and Dortmunds and Leipzigs coming here, and they were blown away. They were absolutely blown away, and it was just through energy. Listen, there was a lot of quality as well, but the energy, the passion, the desire, everything that Derek's talking about there, that should be a given. And he touched on his brother there. That's what I think it was screaming out for on Saturday. They needed one of these players, again, whether it be new or old, to say, you know what, I'm going to make it happen. I'm not going to wait for my mate to make it happen. I'm going to be the one to take the game to Kilmarnock and make a difference. And unfortunately, it just never happened. We were waiting on it to happen. We were waiting to see it, and it never happened. And that's one thing, Rangers players of the past, again, Barry included, when the big players stand up in the big moments and deliver, and we were waiting for that on Saturday.
Kenny, do you think we lack a leader then? Because you look at that game on Saturday, and you're right, and that's what I'm trying to use Barry as an example, because I didn't see anybody, you know, and as I say, I just watched it at home, I didn't see anybody getting after anybody. It's all too nice for me, and they just let the game fritter away. That's what I'm using Barry as an example, because, you know, even at times when he maybe wasn't at his best, he would get after people and make them play. So maybe there's something we could be looking at within this Rangers side. Yeah, a lot of talented players within the setup, but at times when things aren't going your way, you know, and you need to get yourself going, you look around and you look at that Rangers side, and I'm not so sure who the leaders are at the moment. You know, maybe we'll see this over the course of the next 7, 8, 9 games, you know, but at the moment the jury's out.
And there was a situation on the game, just to touch on that, Derek. There was a ball forward in the latter stage of the game, maybe 6-7 minutes to go, a game where Rangers were chasing, it needed to get back in it, and it was a situation where the ball went to Connor Goldson, and he let it bounce on that surface, and Kyle Vassell got up against him, and he kind of muscled him, and he got a hold of the ball, and it kind of led to a situation where Rangers could have been on the front foot attacking, and they never. But you're right, you say there was nobody like giving maybe Connor a little jolt. And listen, it doesn't need to be ranting and raving and pointing and the finger in the face. It can just be, come on, Connor, you know, we need to get on the front foot here. You know, so then there was none of that. You know, and that's what I mean. Not just in terms of being vocal, but somebody again taking the game by the scruff of the neck, give me the ball, make something happen, and bringing an energy that was severely lacking over the most part of that game.
Is Tavernier that type?
You know, he's the leader in respect. He's the captain. He's now, I think this is his 9th season at the football club, so he knows exactly what's expected. He's experienced a league win. He's experienced a Scottish Cup win. Again, it's just not been enough for Rangers over this period to win. Tavernier will lead. You know, he'll speak. He's a very, very good player, I know, and everybody leads differently. You know, so I'm a big James Tavernier fan. You know, I know he gets a lot of criticism in terms of the defensive stuff, but what you've also got to remember, the role he's getting asked to do by the manager is also to provide an incredible attacking outlet. That's through goals, that's through assists. Yes, defensively, he was maybe made a few errors. Everybody makes these errors. I just feel his are really, really highlighted at times. And, you know, and I'm not defending him for these mistakes, because some of them are really costly and they're unacceptable, and he'll know that. But for what he gives the team, is he the leader? Could he do more in that? Listen, I think everybody can do more, because I think collectively it's a different era we're playing in now. Again, going back to Derek said, the guys that would have been in that dressing room, the guys that were in the dressing room when I first came to the football club, they're maybe bigger characters, if you want to call that, but they need to find it somewhere, because you're not going to have it all your own way. Because there's one thing for sure, the teams watching that game on Saturday, there's a blueprint there to how to play against Rangers and make it difficult for them. So they're going to be facing it, but by the way, that's nothing new. It's up to the Rangers players to find a way to win, because that's what it takes to play for this club. They need to find a way to win when you're faced with, again, when you're not at your best, when you're facing these deep blocks, when you're facing these three centre backs that were outstanding, by the way, for Kilmarnock. You need to find a way to break them down.
Let's find out a bit more about tonight's opposition. We're being joined by Matthias David. He is from the biggest newspaper in Switzerland, Blick. Thanks for joining us here at Ibrox, Matthias.
Thanks for having me.
Incredible journey that Servette have had here. I know you were at both games against Genk. Just talk to us about what they did there, why they have managed to find themselves here tonight against all the odds, you'd have to say.
Yeah, exactly. It was two crazy games. First of all, the first game, it was really open, a lot of opportunity in both squad. But yeah, the second game, the away leg in Genk, it was really crazy. They were one man down after 3 minutes, and just against all odds, they came back 2 times. It was just a crazy game, and at the end they just won. The resilience, the mentality of the team is quite crazy.
Talk to us about what you're expecting from your team this evening.
Well, I mean, it's a tough game, it's a big stage, it's the Rangers, it's Ibrox, so yeah, it's not going to be easy for them. I mean, they're really not used to play in front of 50,000 people. Maximum in Switzerland we have young boys, so Basel, they're like 30,000 people. So, I mean, it's going to be in the head, they just have to, we can hear the crowd around us. I mean, it's crazy, and so it's going to be in the head for them if they want to perform here. And I think the main goal here tonight is to stay alive before going back to Geneva.
Well, talk to us about the impact on the team. A lot of players missing tonight, and who are the star players that remain in this Servette side?
I mean, first of all, the main goalkeeper, Jeremy Frick, so he was subbed out during the last game. So, Joël Mal, he did an incredible job in Genk. During the penalty shootout, he dived always in the right corner. But the captain, Jeremy Frick, the goalkeeper, is not there. Is not here. Also, Tsunemoto, the right back, that they just signed from Japan this summer, is also not there. And Nicolas Vouillot, who is a young Swiss player who plays for the under 21 team in Switzerland, but he's not playing normally in right back. So it was his first game last week in Genk in the right back position, but he did a good job. And also Stefanovic is also a big name missing. I mean, he's the one who creates a lot of occasions and stuff. So yeah, it's not going to be easy for them. But I mean, they still have a big squad. Timothy Konya is a good midfielder, and at the front, Guimeno, he can go really quick and good in the box. And also Bedia, he scored 3 goals in 3 games, so he's not that bad.
What has the manager been saying about this game?
I mean, of course, the manager is saying is the big stage. It's you don't always play Rangers at Ibrox, but I mean, he just said he want to enjoy the game. All the players, they also here to enjoy this kind of game. They're not used to play those kind of games, so that's the main goal, to enjoy, and maybe, I don't know, to have a result in Ibrox, and who knows.
Your first visit to Ibrox, are you enjoying it? And what should the Rangers fans expect next week in Geneva? I understand it's a sellout.
Well, I mean, Ibrox is quite crazy, and it's also going to be here next week in Geneva, because it's the first sold out since the inauguration of the stadium in 2003. For Servette, usually for the Swiss national team it's sold out, but they're also going to be a good game and a big crowd behind Servette, because we saw against Genk in the first leg that the crowd can go behind Servette really good.
Good stuff. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Matthias David there from the Blick newspaper in Switzerland, giving us a lowdown on Servette. Let's return then our focus to Rangers and hear from Sam Lammers. He spoke a short time ago with our reporter, Jane Lewis.
Well, Sam, the manager said it's been a difficult few days after that result on Sunday. How important is it to bounce back and put on a better performance and, of course, try and get a better result?
Really important Saturday. As you said, it was not the start we wanted, but I think it's clear that it's a completely different game today, different competition in front of our own fans. So really excited, yeah.
Is it hard to move on from a result like that and to try and put it to the back of your mind and also to try and use it as a positive?
No, I think, like I said, it's we play Champions League now. At least we want to secure Champions League, so it's not difficult to motivate yourself and to move on. But like you said, Saturday was disappointed, but this is we put this behind us, and now you're gonna enjoy today.
Of course, Champions League football, the potential of getting there would have been a reason, I guess, for you coming to a club like Rangers. How much are you relishing that challenge, and how important would it be for you as a player to get onto that stage again?
Yeah, it was one of the reasons. I think as every player wants to play Champions League, we have to deserve it, we have to earn it, and today that starts. So we have to show that we're ready to play Champions League, and I think we're ready.
Thanks for your time. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sam Lammers there. It's filling up nicely here at Ibrox. It's a good night for a game. The Servette fans over in the corner. The sprinklers are on. The players are back in the dressing room for their last-minute preparations and instructions. Kenny, talk to us about the Rangers midfield. From what you've seen of the new signings, what would your ideal midfield be, the strongest midfield?
I think if you're looking at if it's a midfield three, I think Raskin, Cifuentes, definitely, and Cantwell if he's playing in that midfield three. Again, you've seen Michael play a different formation. Sometimes Cantwell's maybe playing a little bit more further up, but I think, you've always got Ryan Jack and Lundstrom there, that you know what they've done. There might be chats surrounding Lundstrom again. I know he's in the final year of his contract, but Ryan's just signed a new contract there. But I think the fact that Cifuentes comes in, this guy could be the difference in this Rangers team. Once he gets in, once he gets in and gets up to speed, he's going to be a feature in this team. There's no doubt about it. And I think if you've got Raskin, who's impressed pretty much in every game that he's played, he's been a brilliant sign. He's such a young man as well, who's came in and just kind of took to the stadium. He's took to the jersey and performed at his best most weeks. And with Cantwell in there, we need to see that Cantwell that we've seen at the end of the season, because there was a creative influence on that team, something that was missing on Saturday. There was a real energy to his play that was missing on Saturday as well, and he added goals in that last 10 games. I think he got 6 goals in his last 10 games, which is a really, really good return. If you can hit that type of return from that area of the pitch, you'll get double figures this year. And I think for Rangers, as an attacking midfielder in that team, you need to be reaching these numbers. It's something I think that Michael's looked at over the front area of his team. They need to add goals, not just the strikers, but across that front area of the team. I think Cantwell can do that if he's performing at the level he was performing at the end of last season. But for me, again, to go back to the answer, that would be a midfield three for me of Cifuentes, Raskin and Cantwell, and I think there's a bit of everything in there.
Yeah, you look at Cantwell there, there's creativity, there's confidence, as Kenny said, there's energy, and other players feed off that.
Yeah, and there's hard work, and he's willing to put his foot in as well, as he showed that towards the end of last season. I didn't know too much about the boy. I thought he was going to be I shouldn't probably say a typical number 10, a flair player that would maybe want to kind of work back the way, but he's anything but. He's all over the park, a real work ethic, and he works his socks off for the team, but he's got a little bit something different. That old Glasgow word, he's a little bit gallus at times, he's got a great range of passing. You need that type. The fans love him here. He loves playing here. So it was such a surprise why he wasn't starting on Saturday. I don't know what the issue was, but if there was an issue, most important thing is you get your best players on the park. Cantwell's Rangers' best player in my opinion at the moment. I'm looking forward to seeing Cifuentes as well, and I totally agree with Kenny saying that looks like that if the Rangers are going with a midfield three, you would go with that. Cifuentes just sitting a little bit deeper and allowing Raskin and Cantwell, just to go and maraud a little bit further up the park, because Raskin can play as well. He's got a good range of passing, but Cantwell's a terrific player, one that he loves. I think he loves the big occasion, and I think he's going to deliver tonight. I want to see Rangers just Rangers come out the traps tonight, play, you know, with a kind of a freedom in their football. I just think they were a little curtailed on Saturday, so they've got this opportunity in front of, you know, this massive crowd under the lights. Doesn't get any better, Kenny.
9 new signings, Kenny, as we've discussed. He brought 2 in January as well. Do you think he's got enough cover at the back?
I think that's an area that might still get addressed, Kenny, to be honest with you, between now and the end of August. That might be dependent on players leaving. It might be dependent on what goes on these types of games and what funds will be available, because for the looks of it, there has been a good outlay already. They might need to balance that off with a few players going the other way, which again I've no doubt will happen between now and the end of August. But yes, I think there's another centre back potentially needed to cover at that area. I think you've got 2 left backs at the moment, you've got 2 right backs and James Tavernier and Dujon Sterling, who's now come in. We've not seen a lot of him. I think he's had a little injury over pre-season, but I think centre back is an area that they may need cover. Obviously Connor Golds has been an absolute rock since he came to the club, but he had his injury problems last year. He is just that little bit older now, and he's had a couple of situations last year that he missed quite a lot of games. I mean, Rangers missed Connor Goldson. There is a big hole in that defence because there's nobody at the moment who's been able to fill that. He makes the guys next to him better. Listen, again, there was situations he was thrown in on Saturday, there's no doubt about that. He's not had a lot of pre-season action under his belt, but he is the guy that makes that Rangers backline, or brings it together for me. So they need him, but I think I know Souttar's made that jersey his own at the moment. Still got a lot to prove for me, and again you've got the injury situation with a lot of them. Ben Davies has been missing a lot since he came to the club. Connor missed quite a bit of last season. John's obviously got well documented injury issues, so yes, I think there needs to be another centre back coming in for cover. There might even be guys going the other way in that position, so yes, I think there needs to be another centre back in before the end of August.
What about the left hand side, Derek? Would you expect when he's fit Yilmaz to be first choice?
I'll be honest with you, Kenny, I'm not convinced. Again, he started this season, he's picked up a whatever injury. We've got to remember he missed a large chunk of last season through injury, so it seems to be a bit of an issue. What I've watched and what I've witnessed so far, he's a decent player, but I'll be honest, I was expecting better when you fork out £5 million of that as a fee, so I think that is an issue. Left centre back, left back, I think that's certainly where you need to strengthen at the moment. You know, yes, it's a work in progress, and there is good players in the final third. You know, it will maybe take them a little time to gel, but you look at that problem area and it is the left side of defence.
What do you guys like at this time then? Just coming out on the pitch, a big European night at Ibrox, it's buzzing.
You know, there's not a better feeling. When that music comes on, you're walking down the tunnel in front of these fans. You know, the hairs on the back of my neck are standing up now, just thinking about it. You know, it's a wonderful place to be playing your football. What a night it is. You know, European night, Champions League football beckons. You know, you've got to go out there and deliver. And listen, there's no better place to be delivering in front of these fans.
Yourself, Derek, bring back special memories?
Absolutely, it's just magnificent, you know, and Kenny's just, that's why I broke off there, you know, as soon as I heard that music, you know, it does something to you, but, you know, memories, yeah, absolutely magnificent. And, you know, look at the fans, you know, what they put on here tonight, that's absolutely over left hand side, you know, the Broomlin stand, that's absolutely magnificent, you know, the work that goes into that, but this atmosphere is electric. So it's all set, Kenny. Now it's down to the players to go and deliver.
Well, Derek fancies the players to deliver tonight. Kenny, just share that optimism.
Absolutely. I think there has to be a response. I do like the changes that have been made to the team. They need to be matching the energy for the stands, because it can feed off each other. The players perform, the fans get right behind the team, but the fans right behind the players, they need to respond. They need to see a better performance tonight, higher energy right from the start. It needs a quick start to get right at Servette and make them feel this atmosphere as well.
Well, it's time now to sit back and enjoy the action. It's Rangers against Servette in Champions League qualifying with Derek Ferguson, Kenny Miller and Rob McLean.
Thanks, Kenny. It was already a massive match, and off the back of what happened on Saturday evening in Ayrshire, it's gone up a couple of notches more, if that is possible, in terms of significance. Can Rangers, and Michael Beale is appealing for it, get their season started tonight under the lights at Ibrox? It was very much a full start at the weekend. It was a tremendous Kilmarnock performance, let's not forget that. But in terms of, if where Rangers are aiming at, it was a massive letdown, and he hasn't hung about, the Rangers gaffer, in making the changes we expected him to make. Todd Cantwell returning was a certainty. Ryan Jack is in that midfield threesome as well, and there's a first start in blue for wearing number 99, the Brazilian Danilo. Dropping out for Rangers, Lundstrom and Sima and Dowell. And on the other side tonight, a team making 4 changes from the weekend. They came back late to equalise to keep their unbeaten start to the season. Servette, like Rangers in their league last season, they were runners-up. They've gone through turmoil over the last couple of decades, but they are back, and they have an opportunity knocking for them tonight, and a chance to go a step closer to Champions League group football, having won already in Europe this season on penalties against Genk. 5 games under their belt, just the one for Rangers. Will that be a factor tonight in how this plays out? And you would imagine how it starts is going to be hugely important. Lots of anticipation, expectation around the stands here as we get underway at Ibrox. Champions League qualifying round number 3. 2 ties to win for Rangers if they want to get to the promised land of the Champions League. They want to get back, they want to do better, but there are steps to be taken before they even think that far ahead. Lovely ball forward from Tavernier for Dessert. He just cushioned it back, and Todd Cantwell had a shot supporting the strikers, which was blocked. Well, that is a sprightly start from Rangers.
Absolutely, again, exactly what you need. They've been asking the Servette defenders to defend, a ball forward, a run forward, and support for Cantwell, who already has had 4 or 5 touches of the ball in that move there. You can see him, he's hungry to get on the ball and try and make things happen.
And he's just giving
a positive sense.
Yeah, he's just giving it away, Kenny, as he heard your glowing comments. But I'm sure if Michael Beale had his time again, I'm sure Todd Cantwell would be in that starting lineup at Kilmarnock on Saturday. It just didn't seem to be making the right sort of statement in terms of what Rangers were intending to do. But he's in here. He's made a mistake there.
I don't mind that, Rob, but you know, he's trying to force the play, and that's what you need, certainly early on in this game, you know, to try and get on the front foot.
So it's a free kick midway inside the Rangers half for Servette, and their first chance to try to make something happen. It's Konya who plays it in, and it's a good header away from Dessert, back helping out defensively. Now Cantwell in possession across on the right hand side. Lots of Servette players around it and hustle the ball out of play. Rangers looking to make a confident opening to the game, and certainly within the opening seconds they were up at the edge of the Servette penalty box, and with a bit of luck that shot from Cantwell might have got through. The ball currently is back with Conor Goldson in defence. Nikola Raskan running into trouble for a moment, but comes away with the ball still in his possession. Back to Goldson again, loves a long diagonal, and he's looking to pick out the run of Danilo into the box, and he reached up a right boot, couldn't quite make contact on it, but he holds up the hand of acknowledgement because he liked that idea.
And I like that idea as well, Rob. If it's something that's been missing in this Rangers team now, Danilo straight away, you can see he's going to have a freedom maybe to move, get closer to Dessert. Dessert coming off, Danilo going behind. It's threatening this Servette team. Too often on Saturday, everything was in front of the Kilmarnock players. So really good action there from Danilo.
Rangers 0, Servette 0 early on at Ibrox, and Danilo is certainly looking lively. Now Cantwell with Danilo, steps inside, squares the ball towards Tavernier. His disguised ball into the box is blocked. Plenty back for Servette as they hold off that threat, but here comes the skipper again, angling a run towards the edge of the box, and again the massed ranks defensively of Servette get the ball clear, and they now look to break, but lacking numbers. The ball is handed back to Rangers. Cantwell on halfway, and John Suter just behind him. Suter, whose mistake was punished by Brad Lyons at the weekend as Kilmarnock scored the only goal of the game, and Rangers got off to a losing start. It's not too often we say that. 20 years since that happened on opening weekend. Barisic left side for Rangers into Raskan and Cantwell. Those two combine so well, arriving at Rangers at the same time, and key components in that midfield area. Ryan Jack, central, involved as well. Short pass to Cantwell, lay off to Raskan. Rangers moving smoothly to the byline it goes. And a clumsy challenge, and that will be a penalty. Down goes Todd Cantwell. It was a desperate-looking challenge, clumsy, badly timed, and the decision was not difficult. Penalty.
Absolutely. And up to that point, you know, we get the penalty. It's brilliant one-touch football from Rangers in that final third. And, you know, the defender just takes a touch, and there's Cantwell's on him in a flash, and just sees him and he sticks out the leg, and yeah, it's a Stonewall penalty kick. Great from Cantwell. You know, he's not just standing off it, admiring, you know, the fine play that we've just witnessed there. No, he's a way to shut him down, and the defender is not expecting that, and yeah, he catches him, and Cantwell goes down. Penalty kick.
It was David Doolin, the central midfielder, who got that horribly wrong, and he's handed Rangers the chance to go in front. 5 minutes on the clock at Ibrox. Are Rangers going to get the fast start they so desperately wanted? It's James Tavernier from the spot, and you just know the outcome. Goalkeeper Joël Mal went one way, the ball was rifled down the other side. Tavernier gets the job done. Rangers in front on a massive night at Ibrox.
And it's a perfect start, Rob. I mean, it is. It's a Stonewall penalty, like Derek says. Anticipated it really, really well, Todd Cantwell did. And James Tavernier, ever reliable for the penalty spot, just waits for the keeper to move and puts it straight down the middle. And this is the perfect start. We've barely seen Jack Butland the ball even going anywhere near Jack Butland's goal in this first 5 minutes, and Rangers are already one up. It's really, really important that they press this now. They've got Servette where they want them after the start, but they need to keep at it.
Yeah. Rangers get their just rewards. It's from that fine start. They've come out of the traps. You know, they're one and two touch football in that final third, and you know, and it's ended up, you know, Servette, they make a mistake, you know, but it's down to the good play from Rangers, and that's, I mean, they've got the fans behind them now, and as Kenny's saying, it is a perfect start. Can they go on now? Because they could kill the tie here tonight.
Yeah.
You know, this is a weakened side, don't forget that. You know, they're missing so many players, so you know, let's go and put them to the sword.
Well, as Derek says, they made a great start, but also the move that brought about the penalty, it looked as if the move had fizzled out at that point. But what went before was really slick, impressive football, and it epitomised the start that Rangers have made in the game. But now they've got some defending to do, as the response comes from Fofana, making a good run down the left side, winning a corner kick in the end for Servette. And of course, you can always be a little bit fragile immediately after you've scored.
Yeah, you can, and particularly when you've got a guy with pace that Fofana has. It just serves you to, it's got to be an understanding for this team could really hit Rangers on the counter-attack, because it was a wonderful goal and a wonderful move, but again, Servette looking to hit back early.
Corner kick left-hand side for the Swiss team. It's a poor delivery, and it's easily fended away at the near post and out for a throw-in on the far side. So no threat at all from that set play for Servette.
He's chased a lost cause down there, hasn't he, Cantwell? You know, in the box. He sees it. The midfield, is it midfielder, wasn't it?
Was,
you know, he takes he notices he's going to take a touch, and he's on him in a flash.
He knows exactly what's going on there. He knows he's taking that touch, and he knows he's going to nick it in front of him, because he's read it. He was lively. He was again, everything that probably wasn't to the performance on Saturday. A brilliant move, great energy to the move, quick passing, and intensity to it, and someone actually again understanding and reading a situation.
Here come Rangers again on the attack. Todd Cantwell has got a real appetite for the game tonight. He's here and there and everywhere, closing down when Servette are in possession, piling the pressure on, getting the ball back, and Rangers keeping up an impressive early match tempo here. They lead by a goal to nil. Ryan Jack tries to thread a pass through, interception on the break. It's Bedia for Servette. And his one comes to a halt with the sliding challenge of Nicolas Raskin, winning it back again for Rangers. A real hunger about Michael Beale's team in these early stages, and they lead by James Tavernier's penalty to nil.
Dessler just needs to be careful there. That ball's going into him and it's a flick and it sets a counter-attack up. You have to look after the ball. You've got a lot of bodies in and around your area, opposition players, but you've also got a lot of support. Pick your teammate out and it can lead to attacks, not counter-attacks.
But what you had there as well, Kenny, you know, you need your teammates at times. If you make a mistake and you're saying, yeah, he's got to hold it in, there's Raskin, you know, getting back there, making a brilliant challenge just to break up that attack.
And Cantwell working his socks off again to get back in there. It's something he does probably go unnoticed for Todd Cantwell. His work ethic's been excellent since he's came to the club.
A little word for Nicolas Raskin for a late challenge, just about on the halfway line on David Dulin, the man who conceded the penalty, as the ball is played into the Rangers penalty box, and it's just escorted back by Barisic to Jack Butland, who was off his line to grab the ball. Now Cantwell receives it from the goalkeeper, heads up to halfway, clips a pass out wide to goal scorer Tavernier. Alongside him is the Belgian under-21 international Raskin. Just does a little spin, takes some time on the ball, plays it back, and it's a cross now to Barisic, left-hand side. There's room for him to deliver. In it comes, left-footed, lots of pace on it, headed clear, only as far as Cantwell. In goes Konya. Ryan Jack then wins the challenge and plays the ball wide right for Tavernier. Rangers looking to deliver again. In from Raskin, headed away by Severin. And now Bedia, the striker, looks to keep possession, tall figure. And attacking down the left-hand side, Servette. The Rangers with numbers back, and the ball goes back. Severin with the captain Rouillet alongside him on the halfway line. An angle ball out wide. It looks as if that might have gone out before it was headed back in by Vuyo. The Rangers win the ball in any case. Danilo running into trouble, comes off Rouillet. Lovely clipped pass from Cantwell down the line for Danilo. Just bounces away from the Brazilian, but what a start to the game Todd Cantwell has had with 11 minutes gone.
He's here, there and everywhere. It's quite unbelievable. He's popping up the left-hand side, right-hand side. He's picking up balls edge of the box. You just worry he's going to, he might blow up. You know, the energy that he started this game with is quite unbelievable, but the quality as well.
It's almost as if he's sending the message to Michael Beale, why did you leave me out on Saturday? And I think a lot of the Rangers fans will be asking that question as well, but he is certainly delivering at the moment exactly what it says on the tin about Todd Cantwell. Vuyo on the right side for Servette into the central area. Dulin plays it wide left as Servette look to create something. In it comes from the left-hand side, and tucking in from left back is Barisic to get that clear, bouncing around in the midfield, nodded down by Danilo. Lammers looks to break. He's having his shirt held on the halfway line, and that will be a free kick against the challenge on the Dutchman, and it's going to be a yellow card to go with it as well. Oh, David Dulin is having a nightmare. He conceded the penalty. Now he's got a booking against his name as well.
Yeah, he's going to have to tread carefully now, because that was a sloppy one there. I mean, I don't think there was too much in it, but when you pull the jersey back and you break, particularly an attacking situation up like that, you leave the referee with no choice but to get the yellow card out.
Rangers coming up with the ideal response so far to what happened at Rugby Park on Saturday. Barisic again, left-hand side, another booming cross in, and coming in off the right side was Lammers. Got his head to it, never really in the body position to get that header on target. But again, threats coming down the left side, and nobody really getting close to Barisic, and he's able to do as he please with some pretty dangerous looking crosses.
Yeah, and it's good to see him, getting down that left-hand side. I think that's his strong point in his game. I think he does lack defensively, but he whips in some terrific balls, and Rangers get bodies in the box. We know about this side as well, but Servette, they'll not be phased. Genk and that tie, they went behind. What was it? A couple of times, 2-3 times, and they've came back. So they look a little bit rattled at the moment, but just starting to find their feet a little bit.
We'll try and not go on too much about Todd Cantwell, but he has been the complete package so far. 13.5 minutes gone, and he could compile a show reel already, I think, from his highlights in the game. Outstanding. The ball back with Goldson and back to Butland.
And that's what you need for Todd Cantwell. He's involved in every stage of the game. He wants to, at the moment he's deeper, he can play in that kind of deeper role, but when he does feed it off, he moves forward into the next area, and he'll affect the game higher up also. He's putting on the complete midfield performance at the moment.
Lovely 1-2, and John Suter striding forward, rolls the ball wide. Barisic can deliver. Great ball in! Rangers have a 2-0 lead, and Cyril Dessert has his first goal for Rangers. A tap-in at the back post after Suter drove forward, and Borna Barisic put it on a plate for Cyril Dessert to make it 2-0 Rangers. They are cruising inside 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's an absolute wonderful goal, and we're talking about Cantwell. He is back picking it up, he plays into Suter, and Suter drives forward past 1-2 players, little pass into the left-hand side, and what a delivery again. Maybe takes a slight nick, but there's Dessert in at the back post and just bundles it into the back of the net.
But you look at the run for Danilo, he affects the goalkeeper, he affects the other defender as well, and he gives his big teammate at the back, Dessert, an absolute tap-in. Great, he has to do that. He could get the tap-in, but it's a real unselfish run across the front post for the striker.
Yeah, they're getting bodies in the box, Rob, and it's so important. I mean, that's what, 3 or 4 great deliveries from Barisic, and bodies in the box, and creates a little bit of mayhem. And on every finisher or striker, it doesn't matter how you put it into the back of the net. He's only a yard or 2 out. As he bundles it in with his thigh, wasn't it, Kenny? Yeah, brilliant.
How good will John Suter be feeling right now off the back of what happened at Rugby Park on Saturday? Because he played a big part there. He played a lovely 1-2 and drove forward, and was central to that attacking move by Rangers, which ended with Barisic setting up Dessert.
Yeah, listen, he'll be delighted, because for me, John Suter can do that, but too often he runs into blind alleys in the middle of the pitch when he's stepping out of that. And this time, the switch of plays came, he stepped in and he's eliminated a player, and all of a sudden they looked a little bit short on bodies at the back, Servette, and he picked the right pass, and it was a wonderful cross for Barisic, right in between that defensive line and the goalkeeper, asking all kinds of questions. 2-0 Rangers. We talked about the perfect start. Derek said it, this tie could be put to bed if they keep this intensity up,
and they've got to keep down this left-hand side. Barisic, that's what, 3-4 times the room that he's getting, and the time to deliver those great crosses into the box. So they've got to keep doing that, keep getting that into this left-hand side, keep putting deliveries in, and you'll get some of those outcomes that we saw already.
It really is important, though, that one of the midfielders make the box as well, because Todd Cantwell, Raskin and Jack, they're probably more suited to playing beyond. Todd Cantwell did get playing from behind in supporting positions. Todd Cantwell can get in the box and score goals, and out of the 3, he's probably the more likely one that's going to get on the end of something.
Yeah, Borna Barisic was certainly warming up for that assist on the second goal, with a couple of terrific balls in, and he can continue to be a threat because he's got acres of space around him if Rangers can get the ball to him again, and they've done it right now. Left-hand side, Barisic in again, low delivery this time, headed away only as far as Raskin, and his right foot volley flashes just wide of target. Rangers very much in the mood.
Yeah, keep feeding the ball, we keep saying it. Cantwell, just coming off, taking possession of the ball, simple ball into Barisic. It wasn't the greatest cross, I think the defender gets a header, but as soon as Raskin hit that, thought it was going to nestle in that top left-hand corner, just skews it away.
That's making them defend, though, there. He gets the ball out, and by the Rangers players have to know, Borna Barisic is going to get the ball at his feet and deliver it in.
Fofana in possession for Servette with a shot from 25 yards, which is straight down the throat of Jack Butland. Nothing troublesome at all for the Rangers keeper so far. And down at the other end, James Tavernier's penalty and Cyril Desser's tap-in make it 2-0 Rangers against Servette, live on BBC Radio Scotland. The ball out with Lammers on the right-hand side. Tavernier links with him down that side. And back into the central defensive area with Conor Goldshire. And across now with John Suter. Into the feet of Cantwell. Threaded through for Danilo. Square pass to Lammers. Lots of movement in this Rangers attacking formation. Tavernier's cross ball, glancing header, Cantwell. Desser knocks it down. Danilo with a shot juggled by the goalkeeper, and he grabs it at the second attempt. Otherwise, it was 3-0.
Yeah, and across to the right side this time with Tavernier. Again, not the best one, but they're asked to defend. They get it wrong, and Rangers players are on it. It was a good attempt for Danilo, a high side volley, got the technique right, straight down the goalkeeper's throat though. It's all Rangers in this first 20 minutes of this game.
Yeah, just over 19 minutes gone, and it is pretty much one-way traffic. And Rangers looking to build the sort of advantage which lets them go to the Stade de Genève next week with lots of confidence. It will be the first full house there in 20 years, and it will be a hostile atmosphere for Rangers. But at the moment, they look to be building a strong advantage in this first leg. Bona Barisic with a header away, which finds Cantwell, and he just calms things down with a back pass to Jack Butland. And the ball rolled out to John Suter. Angled ball up towards Lammers. There was a nudge when the ball was in the air from Kutesa. Gets away with it, and the ball is worked across to Vuillo, the right back on the other side for Servette. Currently mid-table in the Swiss Super League, but unbeaten. A win and 4 draws so far, as Servette win a free kick given against the challenge of Lammers, backtracking on the Rangers' right side. So a chance for the Swiss team to get the ball in the box. It was Mazikou, the Congolese international, who was tripped. And this free kick is about 10-15 yards in from the touchline, left-hand side. A cluster of Servette players just outside the penalty box as Rangers look to get themselves organised defensively. In it comes from the set piece. The knockdown is comfortably dealt with by Lammers, gets it away, and there's a foul then on Todd Cantwell, bundled over on the touchline. It will be a fairly obvious Rangers free kick.
It's a little bit naughty, that. He knows what he's doing. Cantwell can't protect himself. It's an elbow into the back of the head.
Yeah, it was Jeremy Guimeno who knocked him over there. It's maybe the only way they've been able to stop Todd Cantwell so far.
It's been frightening, hasn't it, in terms of, they talk about these heat maps. I'd like to see, what have we played, 21 minutes, 22 minutes. I'd like to see a heat map of Todd Cantwell. It's been exceptional.
Could be charred already.
It's on fire. But they've got to keep this pace up, and I think, he's a talisman, Cantwell. He's leading by example, and the rest of the boys, he's rubbing off on the rest of the players.
Konya to Mazikou as Servette get themselves forward, but trailing in Ibrox by a couple of goals already. Tavernier and Desser on the mark. Desser's first goal for the club. James Tavernier very much back in the old routine. Cantwell again under pressure in much the same area where he was bundled over, and well, everything is coming off for him. Good feet, and he works it back to Barisic, who clears. But a free kick is going to go against Cantwell for his challenge in the midfield area on David Dooley.
It's a little bit of retribution there, I think, for that one on the touchline. I know it's not the same guy, but it's his teammate who was getting it this time.
That'll do.
Yep.
Close enough.
Listen, he's right through the back of them. You know, he's just got to be careful, because sometimes in this stage, and European referees might look at that and get a yellow card. There's no need to take kind of silly bookings at this stage. It's been such a good performance, good energy. Just again, you can make your presence felt without kind of overstepping the line.
He's just really fired up, isn't he, Todd Cantwell? And maybe that's what that challenge.
And quite right as well, Rob, you know, because he was left out of the team. You know, so when you talk about responses, there was a reason he was left out. You know, maybe he thought he was going to be one of the first names on the team sheet. Michael just needed to give him that kick up the backside just to let him know, you know, there's other players here now. You know, you're going to need to earn the place in the starting lineup. Well, he's certainly doing that tonight.
Really good football again from Rangers. First one-touch stuff through the midfield area. It was very impressive, getting themselves again into a good area. Final ball didn't come off, but what preceded it was top drawer. And the ball back with Butland on the left foot, fires it. Well, it's going to go out of play, bouncing out of play close to the touchline, but not much has gone wrong for Rangers in the opening 24 minutes. BBC Radio Scotland at the big match tonight, and Rangers lead Servette by 2-0. Very much in charge of this tie at this stage. As the ball is fired forward by Servette, headed away by Barisic. Back doing his defensive duties, and well, he's been a significant presence when he's got forward down the left-hand side. And an assist already on the night for Cyril Desser's goal. A pretty timid-looking attack down the right-hand side from Servette. The ball goes out of play. It was Jeremy Guimaraes who just took his eye off it, and it's a throw-in for Rangers midway inside their own half. Bona Barisic with it, aiming towards Desser. Good feet, good strength. Finally, Dulin put his body in front of him, and the Servette midfielder hits the deck, and that will be a free kick against Rangers number 9.
You can see why they are direct. You know, there's an opportunity just to get the ball down and play, but no, they just want to get that ball into the box, and you know, look for second balls as well. So not intent on playing, you know, a typical European style, just getting the ball into the box.
Konya whipping in the free kick. Rangers defend it well, and now the blue shirts are flooding forward on the counter-attack, and it's at the feet of Danilo, left side of the pitch. He's attacking the central area now. Just got the ball caught under his feet for a moment there. He was being very positive, but just lost control of the ball at a key moment. Rangers, it's a feature of the game that when they lose it, they very quickly get it back. There was a late challenge by Bedia on Goldson as he stepped out of defence, and that will be a Rangers free kick 15 yards inside the Servette half.
Yeah, it was a missed opportunity there. Yeah, Danilo was really positive. I think a fully fit and up to speed Danilo gets that off, or he gets his shot away, but he was looking just to hold the play up, suck the Servette defenders in and release Barisic, and he just got the ball caught under his feet. I mean, Barisic had made a 70-yard run for his left back area all the way up there, and Danilo just got it wrong. You could see Borna Barisic was absolutely gutted the fact that he never released him, because he would have been on for a shot at goal, or it might even been just a pass across the goal for a teammate to tap in. Missed opportunity there for Rangers on the counter.
The free kick right in the middle of the pitch, and the two fullbacks, James Tavernier and Borna Barisic, over it. It is Barisic to clip it right side of the box. John Suter got his head to it and then fell pretty heavily as the ball is knocked back into Goldson beyond the back post. His header is dealt with this time by Servette, who scramble it clear.
I think you can see a bit of uncertainty in this defence, Rob. Yeah. From the penalty situation, you got that one there where I think it was Fofana was waiting on somebody else. James Tavernier runs past him, gets on the ball. Even on the clearance here, it's a bit of to you, to me. You know, this with all these players missing and these starting players, there's maybe a bit of unfamiliar kind of defending going on between these players, because there does look uncertainty in this backline, whether it be defending crosses or actually just dealing with simple clearances.
Yeah, Rangers have to be thinking there are more goals in this game. They can build up what could be an unassailable lead if they keep up this momentum. Barisic down the line, Danilo chasing, Rie, the skipper, covers across. Doolin fires it forward. Fofana hooks it infield, but he was never really in control of that. And John Souttar got the ball clear for Rangers, and then Ryan Jack just calms things down, slows things down, and Rangers begin again with Cantwell.
It's just something they'll have to keep an eye on, though, Derek, there, because they left themselves 2 for 2. There was a couple of situations at the end of the game against Kilmarnock at the weekend where Kilmarnock could have went actually another goal up with the transition moments. Rangers leave themselves 2 for 2, and I think for me, Fofana and Bedia have been the two guys that look most likely.
A ball in behind Barisic for Kimino. He knocks it across the pitch for Fofana. And that was a threatening moment from Servette, and it's an important intervention in the end, which sends the ball behind for a corner kick.
It's just a little reminder, isn't it? Barisic, he's never so good going forward, but just caught out of position a little bit there, and Servette get the ball into that area, and could have been a better outcome for them.
But in comes the corner kick. Rangers get it clear. The furthest back player for Servette, Bradley Mazikou. Now they look to create with a ball in from the left-hand side. Great header by Cantwell to get it away. He was soaring, and now the counter-attack. Rangers have plenty forward, but the pass is disappointing from Danilo. There were options for him, and Rangers lose the ball, and Bedia looks to link up with Fofana on the counter. Good challenge, Connor Goldson. Back to Butland, and the goalkeeper gets it clear.
Another chance for the Rangers on the counter. I mean, you've seen him as Ryan Jack was bursting forward. I think pace was not one of Ryan's strengths, but he was bursting forward to try and take part in that counter-attack. And I think Danilo just tried to release Desser, who had misread the situation. But again, both teams looking dangerous on the counter-attack. If they're a little bit more clever with and cleaner with opportunities, there'll be a chance there to get the next goals.
Vuio's cross-blocked, and now he's trudging back, and Rangers go again with Danilo crossing halfway. Wide is Barisic, but he needed to put a little bit more on the pass to find the left back, and Konya was able to intercept for Servette. They just need to be a little better with the quality of the passes at times, Rangers.
Yeah, just need to take... I know he's running at pace, Danilo, but there's acres of space to play the ball into, and again, that is just taking care of it, and again, Barisic, he's bombing up the outside, again, it's another 50-60 yard run. He's absolutely knackered at the moment.
It was basketball there for a couple of minutes there, wasn't it? It was you attack, we attack, you attack.
But the great thing is, who's getting back in to cover him? It's Cantwell. He notices, Barisic out of position, and Cantwell reads that situation, gets himself right in there. That's what I'm saying. He's not just a flair player, a creative player, he's a team player.
I don't think I've seen anyone look more devastated at a pass not reaching him than Borna Barisic there.
That's true now, Rob.
As he trudged back. And the upshot of the pass that didn't quite hit the target is that Danilo has changed the boots. Cross on the touchline, he's changed his boots.
That was what it was, wasn't it? It was the boots.
Yeah, exactly. Certainly not the playing surface, which is looking pretty immaculate tonight, and Rangers are certainly using it to the best possible outcome, as an offside flag goes up with Servette on the attack. And there's been little joy for the Swiss side so far here. 31.5 minutes gone at Ibrox. Rangers 2, Servette 0, and of course the second leg is in Geneva next Tuesday.
Yeah, and Rangers, for the start they've got something just to build on. Sometimes they need to put their foot on the ball and just keep it. It did get a bit end-to-end there, and there's not a lot of control when the game goes like that. Michael will want his team to have control tonight, because against this team, I think Bedia and Fofana look the real threats going forward, but if they can nullify that by keeping the ball and making them work and playing how they played for that first 20-25 minutes, there's definitely more goals in it. They'll look a real threat through Desser, Danilo, and like say Cantwell breaking forward.
I think we're seeing the value of Ryan Jack in the midfield area as well. In the game, he doesn't grab the eye as much as Todd Cantwell for obvious reasons, but in the last few minutes he's just played some really probing passes. Here come Rangers with Lammers on the attack. He tries to link up with Desser. but ends up fizzling out this time for Rangers, goes behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, they've stopped feeding the ball into Barisic. I think they're just getting a little bit too narrow there, a little bit too intricate. It's not rocket science, where has the threat came from? It's came this left-hand side. Barisic crosses into the ball. He's there in acres of space. Just use him. Sometimes it's as if it was too of an easy ball to play and they're looking for that harder ball. Keep it simple. Keep doing the simple things. Get the ball into the box and they'll get the outcome. There's more goals here for Rangers, but they've got to keep the foot in the gas.
What we know about Servette is that they've got a bit of guts about them, because they came back twice against Genk in the previous qualifying round to take that tie to extra time, and then of course won on penalties. And
that was down to 10 men as well, Rob.
Yeah.
So it's real character and belief to stay in the game. And by the way, it's been a lot of hard work on the night when you're down to 10 men after 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So they need to draw on that tonight, because if they want to get back in it, the tie's not over. If they can nick a goal here, they would be right back in it. Rangers need to do the opposite. They need to press. They need to go and get this third goal and get at this team.
And they might be just about to do that. Cantwell to Danilo down the left-hand side. His cross is blocked. Throw in quickly taken. Danilo tries to run it back towards Cantwell. The ball goes out. It will be a Servette throw. They played 117 minutes against Genk with 10 men. Did Servette, lost their first choice goalkeeper in the game as well. They survived a lot and came back to win. So Rangers will be well aware of their durability and their resilience, but they trail here by 2-0, and they've been played off the park in many respects so far, looking to get their way back into it with Fofana attacking down the left side of the box, rolls it out, building something useful here. Came into a shot, and from 25 yards again, it was pretty much straight at Jack Butland, but they managed to find an opening there.
It's far too easy, it's just a little throw, Servette in their own half, a little throw inside, and then they switch it out of the left-hand side, burst down and get a cross in and a shot at goal. Far too easy. So Rangers, I think they've just kind of took their foot off the gas just a little bit at the moment, just got to regroup a little bit. Just defensively there should be a lot better.
Every time they go forward, Rangers, they look dangerous. Lammers to Cantwell out on the left-hand side. Back to Barisic. Steps away from Bedia. And the ball is back now with John Suter. Connor Goldson right across the back line to James Tavernier, who opened the scoring in traditional style with a penalty right down the middle, as Joel Mal flung himself across to his left. Tavernier always knew what he was doing, and with little more than 5 minutes gone, Rangers were in front here. Half an hour later, it's 2-0, 10 minutes to go to half-time, and the Rangers fans beginning to see what all the excitement was about with all those summer signings who failed to deliver at Kilmarnock at the weekend, but certainly seems as if they've turned up tonight. John Suter picks up possession as the ball is rolled out to him by Jack Butland, the England international goalkeeper. 9 caps he won.
You can see a little bit of the freedom of this Rangers attack with Lammers the switch sides. You've now got Dessert, who was through the middle, now on the right hand side. In fact, it's maybe more like a front two with Danilo and Dessert up front now.
Tavernier's cross ball, Rouillet under pressure. The ball breaks the way of Danilo. He was off balance on the left side of the penalty box as he tried to get that shot in on target. It flies high and wide, but it was another sparkling attack.
It was, and again, it's just a simple ball into the box, and it's Dessert making a nuisance of himself. He's a big lad, he's a presence in there, and he just sees the ball through to his strike partner Danilo. He gets it all wrong. I still think you're maybe going to have to wait maybe 3-4 games maybe to see the best of Danilo once he gets fully up to speed. He does look a little bit off it at the moment. Maybe how long the transfer took to go through and everything's playing its part in that, but it will be a good signing for Rangers, there's no doubt about it. You've seen the flashes of it already.
Weir's cross for Servette, headed away by Goldson. Chested down by Danilo, looking to link up with Raskan. Chested down, gets the pass away quickly. Rangers moving smoothly again. The ball back to Raskan at the edge of the box. He steers it inside. What a chance for Sam Lammers to make it 3. Can't believe he's side-footed that wide of target.
Oh, it's incredible miss. I can't believe. I'm just waiting for the.
I think it might have been offside. It might just save.
It's brilliant play from Raskin in the first place, you know. And I think Raskin, he's so unselfish because he's onside. Raskin,
I think Lammers might.
You know, he just sells himself. I think he's going to have a hit. He's onside.
Oh,
he's on a mile.
He's missed it.
Oh, it's a mass.
I was trying to dig him out a hole there with the offside shout, but that should be 3-0.
That was the Strikers Union defence spokesman, Kenny Miller, but no, he really had to be, and everyone inside the ground was just waiting for the ball to be nestling in the corner of the net, and sadly for Lammers and for Rangers it went wide. Raskan played a massive part in that move.
It's another example but of Rangers going forward, you know, that fast, free-flowing football and doing it at pace. And, you know, and Raskin, it was, I mean, he's laid it on a plate. I don't know how he's missed.
Now Servette on the attack, and an attempt from a pretty ridiculous angle from Boubacar Fofana, left side of the box, seeing the possibility of getting a shot in and goal. It was never going to threaten Jack Butland, and the Rangers goalkeeper hasn't had a really serious save to make. Everything that's come at him has been pretty much straight at him.
Yeah, he's dealt with it like he should have. I mean, there's been comfortable saves, but he's done it. He's been very, very comfortable in the situation he's had to deal with. But that's again, it's the sign of a good goalkeeper. You need to be full concentration even in games like this. You might not be asked, you might not be called upon too much, but you just don't know when you're going to be called upon to make that big save at that big moment.
A couple of players down. Vuillo and Lammers, who clashed midway inside the Rangers half. It's going to be a free kick for the Swiss team. 10 yards in from the touchline, right hand side.
Good high line for Rangers as well, giving Jack Butland plenty of space, plenty of room to see it.
5.5 minutes away from half time. 2-0 Rangers. Konya with the free kick, missed by the first Rangers defender, but it's a looping header towards goal from the skipper Ruiz, which again is no test of Butland. Very comfortable.
They don't try and do anything, you know, different. Anytime they've got a free kick, you know, 30-40 yards out, they just put it into the box. They don't even work at a different angle, you know, a little kind of short one. You know, it's just it should be easy to defend against. What's going on there?
Free kick in the centre circle for the challenge on Danilo. It was Konya initially, and then the follow-up challenge came in from Kutesa against the Brazilian number 99. VAR must be having
I think it's a penalty, Rob. I think the Servette player was maybe claiming for a penalty off that free kick. I've seen a lot of hands go up and pointing.
Well, the referee, the Lithuanian ref, is going to come across and have a look at the monitor and decide whether this is a penalty claim that needs to be upheld.
Yeah, there it's there. Yeah, it's a penalty.
Yeah, it's a clear handball by the man who scored Rangers' second goal, and this is surely going to be a chance for Servette to get themselves back in the tie. He's having a long look at various reruns of this. Is Donatas Rumšas, but the outcome surely is inevitable, isn't it? Yep, it's going to be a penalty. Penalty for Servette, and Cyril Dessers hangs his head. Didn't really know too much about it, but the ball clearly struck his right arm. A cluster of Rangers players around the referee, but that's not really going to change anything. Jack Butland is out on the penalty spot, just delaying the taking of the kick. It's going to be Chris Bedia, I think, who's going to take this for Servette. He scored 4 goals in his last 5 games.
I think he's looked like their best player, to be fair, on the night. When the ball goes up to me, as a big unit of a lad, he's held that well. Looks quite accomplished on that left side. He has. He's had a decent enough game considering they're 2-0 down.
Well, could this be a turning point on the night? Rangers will hope not. Well worth their 2-0 advantage. But the picture could be about to change here. Scored 12 times last season for Servette, the Ivory Coast-born striker, and the responsibility rests here on his shoulders. Up steps Bedia, and the ball is in the back of the net. Jack Butland flashing across to his right-hand side, and the ball was bulleted down the other way, and suddenly 2-0 becomes 2-1 with 90 seconds left of the first 45.
Well, we know this team has got character. They've shown that, obviously, in the Genk tie, going behind, down to 10 men after 5 minutes. So, that never say die opportunity. The thing is, you go back to that Lammers opportunity, it should have been in the back of the net. It could have been 3-0, and then you go 2 or 3 minutes later, and they're back in the game, back in the tie. So Rangers, they've got to get back into that groove and try and get this third.
It's a change of complexion at Ibrox, as Rangers, who are looking very comfortable when that second goal went in, now have a battle on their hands, because that will give a big lift to Servette, who are very much second best in the game. Rio launches a ball out wide. Tavernier's header away. Now Cantwell in between the lines, finding some room, finding the pass that releases Danilo. His shot blocked as he cut in to get that onto his right foot. Rangers have it back, and it's Cantwell again, 25 yards out. Deflection on his little chipped delivery. The ball goes high, and when it comes down, it's grabbed by Joel Mal.
There's one thing for sure, Rob. There's more goals going to be in this game.
Yeah.
Rangers leave themselves 2v2 against probably Servette's most dangerous 2 players. And Rangers, every single time they win the ball back, they're going 2v2, they're going 3v3. Danilo's found himself on this inside left channel, 1v1 a couple of times. He's chose to go inside every time. He should maybe look to show the right side and go outside, because he's free, he's 1v1. He's got the abilities to go past the Servette defender, and there's chances for Rangers in this game and on transition. There's no doubt about it. There's going to be more goals in this game.
We're inside stoppage time at the end of the first half. 4 minutes are being added, and it is Rangers 2, Servette 1 on BBC Radio Scotland. And Rangers will look again right now, and certainly in the second half, to reassert their authority in the game, and they'll want to be a little bit more clinical as well second half, because they've created plenty. They've got into great areas time and again, and they should certainly have more than just the 2 goals by now. But a reminder that they need to keep the back door shut as well. They need to protect what they have at times, and it's striking that balance, which can sometimes be a big challenge.
Kenny's absolutely, he's spot on. He spotted it 2 or 3 times already in this half. At times, and the ball has broke down for Rangers. They're 2v2 at the back, and they're big, powerful lads. And all it takes is a ball over the top, and they're in on top of you. So they've just got to be a little bit careful at times.
And that's what I was saying there, Rob, earlier. John Sutton runs into blind alleys there.
Yeah.
You get robbed there, there's a chance going to come against you.
Yeah, fortunately Rangers got the free kick there. Forward they go, Lammers flicks it on, just outside the box. Danilo tried to play in Desser, not quite. The Rangers come again on the left-hand side. Barisic looking for that half yard to create, which he does. Whipped in cross, headed away. Konya rolls it back. A little hint of desperation in the way that Servette got that clear. They have been creaking at times defensively as Rangers have piled on the pressure.
And that's why it's important Rangers keep what got them success. It was 2 crosses into the box, no particularly great crosses either, but they got the results that they wanted. They got the chance for the penalty and they got the goal through Dessler. They need to put this defence under more pressure.
I tell you what they look as well, Kenny. They look a physically strong side, don't they? As if they've got plenty of legs in them, you know. As the halves went on, I know the goal gives you a little bit of confidence, but looking very strong and fit at the moment, and just Rangers looking a little bit leggy.
Fofana turning away from Tavernier's challenge there, got past him very easily. The cut back lacked pace.
That was the most turn there, Derek. He just dropped it one way and went the other way and left Tavernier standing.
Had the cut back been better, it could have been problematic for Rangers, and they certainly won't be underestimating the challenge that Servette continue to pose here. Konya squares it. Guimeno with the shot. Bedia just ducked out of the way of it. And had it been wider of Butland, there might have been a problem that he might have been unsighted there. But it was, again, straight at the goalkeeper late on in the first half at Ibrox. 2-1 Rangers.
Yeah, it was a tame attempt, but it's another attempt. Edge of the box, they work it from left to right to inside right. That's been 2 or 3 occasions now. They're getting shots off too easily from that area of the pitch. There's been so close on a couple of occasions to deflecting as well, and it could have left Butland stranded. Fortunate enough, it's been right through him, right down his throat.
That is half-time at Ibrox, a pulsating first 45 minutes. Rangers burst out of the blocks in real style and went ahead with a little more than 5 minutes gone. It was a clumsy challenge by David Dulin on the irrepressible Todd Cantwell, who was absolutely everywhere for Rangers. He won the penalty and James Tavernier converted it in his usual fashion, fired right down the middle. Inside 15 minutes, Rangers were 2 ahead. Borna Barisic had threatened already down the left side, and as Rangers built the move up really cleverly, it was Barisic who put it on a plate in the end for Cyril Dessler. Danilo was a presence at the near post and the ball ran onto the back post, and it was Dessler tapping in his first goal for Rangers. Could well have been 3-0, should have been 3-0 when you think about it, as Raskan set up Lammers with a big opportunity. It really should have been in the back of the net from the Dutchman. Somehow he contrived to place the ball wide of target, and of course the sucker punch was a goal back for Servette. It was VAR who spotted the handball from goal scorer Dessler on the end of a free kick, and having scanned the monitor, he pointed to the spot, and it was Chris Bedia who, having scored 4 and 5, made it 5 and 6 for Servette with a left footer, which left Butland with no chance whatsoever. And it gives us a half-time scoreline, a much closer scoreline than we would have anticipated earlier on in the half. Rangers 2, Servette 1.
So half-time here at Ibrox, Rangers 2, Servette 1. Tavernier with a penalty on 6 minutes, Dessers on 15. Rangers look to be cruising. They created so many chances, but Servette right back in it on 44 minutes after a VAR check. They were awarded a penalty, and Bedia tucked that one away very nicely indeed, Derek Ferguson. I think the Rangers players, the Rangers manager down below us here, perhaps stumped as to why they're not further ahead in this game.
Yeah, but they've done exactly what they needed to do tonight. You know, they come out the traps, played some exhilarating football, we've got to say. That pace, the imagination, the intensity, and they got their noses in front, obviously. Cantwell's been sensational, you know, that first 20-25 minutes, he was absolutely everywhere, leading by example. And he won, obviously, Rangers the penalty, but up to that penalty kick, you know, it was a brilliant move, the 1 and 2 touch football. It's been an absolute joy to watch. they got some joy down this left-hand side. Barisic, he's been in acres of room, and you look at that Servette side, it looks as if they're in a little bit of disarray. Obviously they're missing one or two players, so that even a little bit of communication, there might be a problem there. And I think it's not rocket science. When you're having success, keep doing it, but they seem to starve him of ammunition as the game went on. But as the game come on, you can see them. They're a fit side, they're a strong side. They've got a brilliant attitude, because at 2-0, I know sides that would just down tools, throw the towel in. Not this side, and they've kept at it. But the but is, it could have been 3-0 Lammers. It was a brilliant move. Raskin breaking forward again. We're talking about that pace and the one-touch football, and he laid it on a plate for Lammers, and he's got to put it into the back of the net. I don't know how he's missed it. Then 2 or 3 minutes later, and again they've had about 4 or 5 Kenny free kicks. They don't do anything fancy. They just put the ball into the box, ask the question. And unfortunately it was Deza at this time, I don't know, he's turning his back, he puts his arm up, and there's always a danger, you're going to, get a penalty kick up against you. I didn't see it in normal time, but obviously the Servette players, claimed, goes to VAR, and and we saw it in the replay, and it was definitely a penalty kick. So they're back in it, but this side, we knew this, what this side are all about. They're not going to go away, they're not going to throw the towel in. To me, they look a physically very fit side. They're not the greatest football team side in the world, but what they have, they've got a great attitude, they're physically strong. And those two boys up top, they're causing a problem. I've got sore ribs from Kenny whacking me in the side, because at times when Rangers have been breaking forward, and they've got to, take a chance at times, and when it's broke down, it's 2 for 2.
A few nervy moments.
Yeah, and they're two big, strong lads up top, so Rangers have just got to be wary of that. But Kenny was absolutely right. Just what he was saying before the break there is more goals in this game. You can see that's for sure.
It's a really open game. The amount of times Barisic down this left-hand side, Derek has found himself in space. Just a couple of times the pass to Barisic hasn't quite been there.
Yeah, I think that's. It's an example of Danilo. He's running at pace. You can just see he's lacking match practice. But again, I think it's been Cantwell that's been absolutely instrumental, because he's noticed that there's an opportunity to get Barisic on the ball in the right-hand area, and he's done it ever so well. So it's a little bit frustrating that they've not kept doing that, but just got to re-emphasise that at half-time. Where have we got the joy? We've got the joy down the left-hand side. Give it to Barisic. Get those deliveries into the box, get bodies in there, and surely there's going to be more goals to come. But I think you could see Danilo getting a little bit tired. 1 or 2, even Lammers to a certain extent, looked a little bit leggy. I thought a few of them, the players did. So maybe just it might be 1 or 2 changes certainly into the second half, but Rangers have got to find that intensity, that speed of play in the final third, and if they can, there's certainly an opportunity for more goals.
Yeah, there's no doubt they look a very different side to the one that didn't perform at Rugby Park on Saturday evening. So a lot of positives, I'm sure, for the manager tonight. But as I say, there'll be a frustration there. As Derek said, they could easily have been 3-0 ahead in this game, but right before the break, the penalty was awarded. No arguments really over that. When the referee was called over to the screen, there's no doubt what happens at that point. He changed his decision. The penalty was awarded, and what a really cool penalty it was. After, of course, Tavernier with a terrific penalty from the spot after 6 minutes. There's never any great doubt when he steps up. Really, really cool. Dessers, 15 minutes. Rangers were cruising at that point, but they were pegged back. It's an interesting second half ahead here at Ibrox, no doubt about that. Just to confirm what happens next with the return game in Geneva, that's a sellout. That is next Tuesday evening. The winner of the tie will go through to play either PSV Eindhoven or Sturm Graz in the Champions League playoff. Sturm Graz went down 4-1 away at PSV last night, so the Dutch side cruising in that one. So that could be a rematch for PSV against Rangers in a couple of weeks' time. The prize is huge, a place in the group stages of the Champions League. Should Rangers not get through this tie with Servette or get knocked out if they get through to play PSV or Sturm Graz. Either way, they'll end up in the group stages of the Europa League. I've written down Kenny Miller: speed, intensity, aggression, quality, things that were definitely missing on Saturday.
And they got off to the perfect start with the penalty, but it wasn't just the penalty, it was the build up before it. It was the energy that they brought to the game. There was a brilliant move down the right hand side between Lammers and Tavernier, and Cantwell's just alive. He's the one guy that has been alive in that opening stages of the game, and they just got off to the perfect start. But they were all over them. They were making Servette defend. They were asking the defenders questions, and there clearly is a bit of uncertainty in that back line of Servette. But like you say, a little bit more quality, a little bit more care in the transition moments. There's been 5 or 6 situations. Danilo, again, he's just not quite up to speed at the moment, but the quicker he gets up to the speed, the better he's going to become, because this guy's got the abilities to go at people and eliminate them. He's just got the ball caught under his feet in a couple of situations, and Borna Barisic unfortunately has been on the receiving end at his 60-70 yard runs and no getting the carrot, actually getting the pass. But there's more goals in this game for Rangers, I've absolutely no doubt about it. They need to keep the back door shut, because up front, in Fofana and Bedia, they've got 2 good players, 2 real threats. But if Rangers just take care of that, they don't leave their cell exposed at the back, I've no doubt about it, there's got at least another goal or 2 in the second half for Rangers.
We spoke earlier, Kenny, about the defensive options open to Michael Beale. Suter's been great tonight, hasn't he? Striding out of that defence, really looks strong tonight, looks fit tonight.
Listen, in that instance, absolutely, because he's striding forward with a purpose. You know, you see the next one there where he gets suffocated, and he's fortunate enough there was a free kick there. John Suter can do that, there's no doubt about it. John Suter can pass the ball, there's no doubt about it. It needs to be when he does it, it has to improve. You know, on the second goal, he eliminates the midfielder, he's onto a back line, he releases Barisic, who then puts on a plate. Danilo initially across the front post, and Dessers pays off at the back post, bundling it in with the thigh. But John Suter is aggressive, he's quick, he can play, he's got all the tools. It's just about putting it together more often on a more consistent basis.
Are you expecting any changes from Rangers in the second half, Derek?
Yeah, well, I thought they looked a little bit leggy going towards half time. Danilo, you know, he just, and you can see he is looking short of match practice. There was a couple of opportunities he should have played Barisic in, so I wouldn't see at half time. I think you'll get another 10-15 minutes, but as I say, this Servette side, they look physically strong, and I think they had 5-6 competitive games already this season, so they're into their season, they're into their stride. Yeah, they're missing some players, but as well as that, they've got a belief about them, you know, and as I say, that Genk tie that they come through, you know, they showed some great character, and they've done that again tonight. You know, they could have been dead and buried at 3-0 if Lammers puts that one in, but fair play to them, you know, they've got away with it and they've got themselves back into this game. So yeah, Rangers have got to get back to the way that they started, that intensity. It's the one-touch football, it's that pace, it's the little give and goes, you know, everything that wasn't there on Saturday night down at Kilmarnock, you know, they've found that tonight on this surface in front of this big crowd, so they need to replicate this early in this second half, get the crowd behind them, and yeah, there is goals, and I would echo what Kenny's saying, just slight worry at times when Rangers are breaking forward in numbers. They're leaving themselves a little bit kind of fragile at the back, so they've just got to be careful, because those 2 guys up top, and Fofana and Bedia, you know, big, powerful, pacey guys, so we've just got to be wary.
What have you made, Kenny, of Servette? Derek saying they're a big fit side, a strong side, a side clearly with great heart.
Well, they have, and I think that when you look at that last result, when you go down to 10 men, honestly, let me tell you, it is so hard to cover the spaces. You're a man down, it might only seem like you're one man, but you know what, the spaces that are there to cover, it's super hard work. To do that for 117 minutes, you know, it's asked a lot of them, so they've clearly got a good bit of heart and a lot of desire. But what you see here as well is there is some good quality in their play going forward. I particularly think on the left hand side they are more dangerous than on the right. You see Fofana drifting that way, you've got Mazaku on that side as well. I think he looks like he's got a bit of legs from the left back position, so they look more dangerous on that, but they do look dangerous on the counter attack. I think there's uncertainty in their back line. You see when the crosses are coming in, you see with the clearances, they're a little bit hesitant, they're waiting on someone else to take that chance. That's where Rangers need to take more advantage of, like they did for the penalty when Todd Cantwell read the situation, and even on other situations when Tavernier's crossing or Barisic. Even when they're not that good, they're not dealing with them probably as well as what they should. There is a bit of uncertainty, the clearances are a little bit sclaffed, and Rangers are getting opportunities on the second phase from that as well. So they need to ask more questions. So whether that's by playing through the middle like Rangers have done pretty well tonight with the combinations, or like Derek says in the first half, don't turn the easy pass down to Borna Barisic or James Tavernier. Let the ball get wide there, and when it goes wide, you know what's coming. The ball's coming in the box. So you've got Lammers, you've got Danilo, you've got Dessers. A midfielder must hit the penalty spot as well and get numbers into the box. Because if they do that, I reckon if they're knocking on the door, I think they'll get the right answers with this Servette battling.
You guys have been raving about Todd Cantwell. Talk to us what he brings to this Rangers team.
He brings an appetite. I think he's a great example to the rest of the players. The pace, the quality he plays with, the desire, everything. You don't. Listen, Kenny, I thought when he came to the club, I said earlier, I thought we were getting a kind of just a flair player, somebody that would just flit in and out of games. He's anything but, he thrives in this atmosphere, and I think that rubs off in the rest of the players. It was unbelievable, that first 25 minutes. That's what we're talking about, the heat map. He was absolutely everywhere, down the left-hand side, right-hand side, picking the ball up from the keeper, edge of the box, shot at goals, wins a penalty kick, and that's what we need at the start of the second half. We need more Todd Cantwells, out there to get us, this third goal, and hopefully, I wouldn't say put this game to bed, this tie to bed, because you're never going to write this side off. But Todd Cantwell, he's been exceptional tonight.
It's been a terrific game here at Ibrox. Full second half commentary to come. Rangers against Servette with Derek Ferguson, Kenny Miller and Rob McLean.
Cheers, Kenny. Back underway here. And as you were in terms of the two team selections, no half-time changes, and Rangers looking to start this half the way they started in the first half, which was explosive. And immediately Tavernier was getting forward down the right-hand side, looking to combine with Lammers, who will be hoping he gets another chance to make up for his first half miss, because it was a glorious opportunity to give Rangers a 3-goal advantage. It would have been at that stage. But if Rangers keep on attacking as they have been doing, and creating the chances that they've been finding in the game, then surely there will be more goals to add to a scoreline which at the moment doesn't really tell the story of a first half dominated by the home team. And they'll be looking for a better advantage than this to take to Geneva next week.
Well, you're bang on, Rob. It should have been 3-0, and I think if it had been 3-0, I think it might have been game out of sight. They missed the chance, and within a few minutes you're back down the other end and Servette get the penalty. But there's no doubt they just need to keep the intensity up. There is going to be chances in this game, and it might come from the bench, it might come from a player bringing on a fresher energy, fresher legs, and coming on maybe the last half hour of this game, because there's definitely, they put so much into it, Rangers, into that first 25 minutes. Maybe Derek was right, maybe there is a few boys a bit leggy, a bit of lackey match sharpness and preparations in the pre-season, that maybe we need a bit of legs off the bench.
Yeah, you would imagine Michael Beale will use the squad as the second half goes on, as he applauds Rangers' play at the moment as they build it up down the right-hand side. The ball just bounces off Lammers, but there was a touch from a Servette boot, and it will be a Rangers throw-in midway inside the Servette half. James Tavernier to take this throw-in, looking to turn up the noise again in the second half inside Ibrox, and it was getting very noisy first half as Rangers produced some electric football early on, showing bags of desire and hunger as well, things that were lacking at Rugby Park at the weekend. Challenged by Bedia into the back of Cantwell. It was a challenge he really didn't need to be making. It was always going to be a free kick, and it is about 45 yards out here for Rangers.
It's a great example. Dezers down this right-hand side, chasing a lost cause. You know, and forcing him into a mistake, well, finds its way to Cantwell. You know, we've just been speaking about him. He's been superb tonight. You know, yeah, find himself being fouled. What is that, about 35, 40 yards out? So it's a good opportunity, you know, to get a quality ball into the box.
Tavernier.
Maybe a wee bit too far out, Rob, for a shot.
Yeah, I think so.
A wee bit too far.
I think it's 35 yards plus a bit of VAT maybe Derek added on.
Looks like Dessers might want something down the sides, the way he's kind of positioning himself.
Barisic lifts the ball into the 6-yard box, maybe just a little bit too much on it, but it was into a very tempting area. The blue shirts flooding in, just couldn't get to the ball before it bounced behind.
Yeah, because it's just curling away from everybody. It was just too much close to the goalkeeper. It was just moving away from all the Rangers players that were charging in the back post. It was a good delivery into a dangerous area, but he just needed to give his teammates a little bit more opportunity to go on the end of it.
The big match on BBC Radio Scotland, Rangers 2, Servette 1. Just 4 minutes into the second half as the ball is lofted forward by Servette. Boubacar Fofana was after it, and good assistance there coming from John Souttar to help out Connor Goldson, who just lost the flight of the ball there for a moment as it was bouncing inside the penalty box. That's what a central defensive partnership is all about.
Causes problems, but Rob, as well, just a simple ball, isn't it? Yep. You know, just a simple ball over the top, and you know, causing us a few little problems. I says those two big boys up top, you know, certainly got to keep an eye on them.
Ryan Jack gives it away under pressure. Beria looks to keep it, but he's outnumbered in the end. Dessers clips it away towards Cantwell. And in that 50-50 challenge, well, there was only going to be one winner. I thought that was fair enough. The referee didn't, and he books Cantwell.
I mean, you're not allowed to challenge in this day and age. I mean, the ball's there to be won. I think Cantwell, you look at his face at the moment, you know, he's in disbelief. The ball's there to be won. He clearly gets the ball, you know, and there's no intent to inflict any damage on the opposing player. He's just fully getting the ball, and on this surface it's slick. You can't help yourself.
I'm not even sure there's a lot of contact there. It might catch him on the toe.
It's not a yellow card, Kenny, that's for sure. You know,
you were barely looking for a free kick there, far less a yellow card, but it's been given 15 yards inside the Rangers half. Konya will take this for Servette. In it comes, right-footed, headed away by Goldson, bounces off Cantwell. Fofana was almost in with a little half chance there, but it's cleared by Todd Cantwell. And he reckoned it took a little bit of a nick on its way, but it's going to be a corner kick to Servette. Sliced behind by the Rangers midfielder. Here comes the corner kick in from the left-hand side. Diving header away, it goes behind from whence it came. John Souttar getting his head to it. It's going to be another corner kick for Servette, who got that massive lift of a goal back late in the first half after the penalty was given by VAR. Another Servette corner, low in at the near post. Rangers again defend it solidly, and the ball is fired back by Konya to Mazikou on the halfway line. The midfielder, Konya, runs into trouble. It's well won by Raskan. And now a clipped ball downfield by Lammers. Just needed a little bit less on it in behind Mazikou. And Rangers could have had a real chance on the break. Just overhit by the Dutchman, but here come Rangers again. Ryan Jack with a driving run in the midfield. Cantwell, the pass to Barisic. His cross ball in. Almost for Danilo. Dealt with defensively that time by Servette defence, which looks less than convincing, and Rangers have certainly asked plenty of questions.
Again, Rob, it's down that left-hand side. The Rangers have had so much joy tonight, so again, keep getting it down that left-hand side, keep breaking onto them and keep getting deliveries into the box.
Michael Beale suited and booted, shouting instructions from the technical area. He must have been punning at times in the first half at some of the quality of the Rangers football, but they need to do it again in the second half. They need to produce again, bearing in mind that this tie won't be settled till Geneva next Tuesday night. It's Severin who plays a long ball forward for Servette, headed away by Souttar. Nice header down from Barisic to Jack. Ryan Jack leaves the pass short though, and it was overrun by Guimeno, who was gifted possession of the ball there. It was sloppy from Rangers. The ball fired forward towards Fofana, more in hope than any great belief that was going to hit its target. Rangers intercept and now shift the ball forward. Dessert plays it inside to Raskan, wide for Tavernier, great ball in! What a save! What a save to deny Sam Lammers. He thought he was scoring Rangers' third goal. Joel Mal dived to his right, stuck out a right glove and produced a wonder stop.
What a move, firstly, but what a save from Mal. This is 3-1 written all over it. It's like his pinky. He just gets enough on it just to guide it past the post. I mean, to be honest, Lammers does everything right, unlike his chance in the first half. Wonderful save.
Corner kick coming up for Rangers after a save which almost defies belief.
That's a second choice keeper as well.
Yeah.
That's some pinky.
It's a big strong pinky that, by the way.
Corner kick, left side, curling in, goalkeeper struggling this time to get a fist to it, and the ball spins out wide right for Tavernier. Konya gets his body in the way and wins the free kick and takes the heat off Servette at the moment, as we reflect again on an amazing moment. What a save from Joel Mal, the Servette goalkeeper. Sam Lammers was almost turning away in celebration because he struck it so sweetly. It had to be in the back of the net, wide of the goalkeeper. What a save.
Rob, I was already celebrating myself. I thought it was in the back of the net, you know, and it's a brilliant move, Raskin, you know, to Tavernier on this right hand side, and doesn't take a touch, just plays it in first time, plenty of pace in the ball, and you know, Lammers doesn't need to find the power, he just guides it, but as soon as he makes contact, you know, you think it's just finding that bottom right hand corner, and as Kenny says, pinky, what fingertips, what a save, it is unbelievable.
That must be the strongest pinky in European football, Kenny.
Well, it must be, because I'll tell you, it hit his pinky. That was, you know, but even with the touch, you're still thinking it's going to find the bottom corner. It's a wonderful save, and that might just keep Servette in it in the second half when Rangers have been on top again.
Big moments, the VAR penalty at the end of the first half, which got them back in this, changed the complexion. And now that save which stops Rangers reopening the 2-goal advantage. You could certainly criticise Lammers' first half for a sitter missed, but couldn't have done much more that time as Rangers give it away with a crossfield pass which gift wraps possession to Servette, and thankfully for Rangers they're unable to do any damage. Cantwellth Jack in the midfield area, now Goldson across the pitch. Tavernier plays it inside and then moves further down the flank. Nicolas Raskan with a slack pass which doesn't find Lammers, and now it's Servette on the attack, and Fofana is taken out by John Suter, taking one for the team because Rangers were looking stretched at that point. A free kick and a yellow card.
Yeah, it comes from Raskin there, just getting a little bit sloppy, you know, with the pass into Lammers, and I think Suter's got no choice as to bring Fofana down there. I think he was going to be breaking on us, but you know, just little bits of sloppiness just creeping into the play at times. You know, I just like to see Tavernier at times, you know, get a ball, just get bombing down that right hand side.
Weir's cross blocked for Servette. Rangers look to counter. Lammers in the middle of the pitch. Raskan leaves it to Tavernier. Raskan the target for the Tavernier pass down the line. Covering across for Servette was Johan Severin, the central defender. The ball goes out for a Rangers throw. 57 minutes. BBC Radio Scotland. Rangers 2, Servette 1. And Rangers need to make their superiority count again in this second period to get the sort of lead they want to be taking to Geneva next Tuesday. Raskan, the Belgian under-21 international, who played such a big part in Rangers' second goal. Just trading passes on halfway at the moment. And now they look forward Well, momentarily, but he's throwing his arms out wide, Raskan, saying, who's showing for me, as the ball goes back again. Now it's forward from Lammers, who twists onto the left foot, onto the right, tries a shot, blocked. And scrambled away by Konya, who looks to get Bedia moving on that right-hand side, and John Souttar defends it really impressively. It was a physical tussle with Bedia, and Souttar comes out on top.
Yeah, he got the right position there, Robbie. He was a couple of yards ahead of Bedia, the striker. He just got his body in between man and ball and dealt with it well. Bedia's a threat, you know, he's a big physical player, but John dealt with that very well.
Tavernier loses possession. Fofana attacking down the left-hand side, flicks the ball in the field. Great challenge by Todd Cantwell, and he was caught on the follow-through, and that will be a yellow card, a second yellow card for David Dulin, and Servette are down to 10 men. The midfielder hangs his head as he targets the Ibrox tunnel because he is off, and Servette, 2-1 down, are now one man down.
It's a difficult one, isn't it? You know, is that a booking? He's already committed to the shot. Cantwell gets a block in. I don't think there's intent. You know, it's.
No, there's not. Listen, you can understand it from a player's point of view. You know exactly the situation. He's going to go and shoot. He's not going to even tackle, and Cantwell just gets in front of him and nicks it.
Yeah.
You know, he does make contact, and he is going. I think he even pulls out of it, to be honest with you. It's probably harsh. I think from a player's perspective, when you're looking at that, you understand exactly what's going on, so you can sympathise with it. Listen, is that enough for a booking? Probably in this day and age, it probably is.
Yeah. I wondered if he could have actually pulled out of it.
I think he's already committed to the shot, and as Kenny's saying, you know, Cantwell, he's just nicks in a little bit. Well, he does nick in quickly, and I don't think he can actually stop himself. I think he's in the motion of kicking. You can actually see him try to pull away from it. But you get yellow cards for absolutely anything. I don't know if you noticed just earlier in a little passage of play, like Raskin is in possession of the ball in the middle of the park, and you know you've got Tavernier wide right here. He didn't want the ball. He was gesturing that he didn't want it. You know, and it's a simple pass in a wide area, and you know, I don't know if he's feeling something at the moment, Tavernier, because he was caught in possession as well far too easily. As I'm saying, he just looks a bit leggy. Sometimes his body language at times could be better.
Can Rangers make their numerical superiority count here? 11 against 10. Lammers 25 yards out. Plays it wide with the outside of the right boot. James Tavernier tried to hammer the ball in, and it was blocked by Mazikou. And it's out for a Rangers throw close to the corner flag. Tavernier with it. Back it goes to Ryan Jack. 2-1 Rangers. And the fans around Ibrox want more. They want more of that first half sparkle, and they want a clinical edge to Rangers' attacking play as well. But as Ryan Jack drives towards the box and flicks a pass out wide, City El Desser was not on the same wavelength, and the ball slips behind for a goal kick.
Well, you can hear the frustrations of the fans, Rob, because you know it has been a little bit untidy. They've not done enough in an attacking sense to create too much in the second half out with Lammers' chance. But the one thing's for sure, they need to press home their advantage. They can't take this team lightly, as we've seen in the previous game. They fought for 117 minutes with 10 men and actually came back twice in the game and took all the way to penalties to get the win. So you can't discount them, but move the ball quickly, make them work. It's a big old pitch out there. They've already worked super hard to try and keep Rangers at bay. Just move it and keep pressing against them. They're going to have a lot more of the ball now, and they just need to make better use of it.
Ken, I think that was just a little example. Ryan Jack, he's driving forward at pace. He's looking for options. There's not too many.
No.
You know, and Dessa, you know, feel to move from there.
Tavernier's cross ball is headed away only as far as Raskan on the left foot. Good hit and a good block as well from a Servette point of view. Rangers come again with Tavernier working the 1-2 and then fires it back towards Goldson.
It's desperate defending for Servette.
Cantwell cuts in from that inside left area. The ball breaks the way of Danilo, and he gets the shot away from just inside the box. Struck it pretty well, but it was at a more comfortable height this time for Mal to make a much more comfortable save than the earlier one he produced against Lammers.
That's good play from Cantwell. Then I think it was Dessers that laid it off, and then Danilo gets his shot away. It's good play, you know, but it's a shot, it's a chance, half chance for Danilo. I mean, again, I think it's getting towards just after the hour mark now. I think Danilo might eventually make way, or maybe now for Sima. I think he's still that lacking in match practice at the moment, Danilo. I think he might be the one to make way.
Yeah, we're going to see Abdallah Sima shortly on the pitch. We're also going to see Samba Lele Diba off the bench for Servette, 6'5" midfielder, as René Weiler prepares to make his first change of the game. Of course, dealing with a team down to 10 men. It's going to be Fofana coming off. Boubacar Fofana, who's looked pretty handy at times for Servette. I don't think Rangers will be distraught at seeing the back of him.
No, he's pacey. He's got real pace in these counter-attacks. You've seen it in that minutes ago, that 1v1 with John Souttar, when it led to John Souttar getting a booking. He's got abilities 1v1. I think just when you're down to 10 men, there has to be sacrifices made, and it's normally a forward player. And I think what it'll do now, it'll allow Bedia maybe just to be that focal point at the top of the pitch. They'll look to get the ball into him, they'll look to try and get support. But with Rangers' extra man, they need to make this dominance, they need to push this dominance and really make this team work.
Change days here, 6'5", midfielder, central midfielder.
He's a unit.
He certainly is.
John Souttar in possession. Todd Cantwell alongside. He just pops up where you want him to be. Todd Cantwell linking the play together. Lively and creative. And he's been a big influence in this Rangers performance tonight, but they want a better reward than 2-1 to take to Switzerland next week. It is going to be Danilo coming off here for Rangers, and Abdallah Sima will replace him. Seemed to be taken a little bit by surprise that he was getting the hook.
Nah, there's certainly more to come from him. You know, just a little bit rusty in some parts of his play, but we saw a lot of good things tonight. You know, certainly, you know, you get that drive, that pace, that little bit of invention. You know, just getting to know his teammates, so certainly more to come from Danilo.
He's a Brighton player, Abdallah Sima, but he actually hasn't played for Brighton yet. He was loaned to Stoke first season. They signed him, and Angers in France last season. And here he is, looking to make an impact now at Rangers. Fresh legs off the bench.
Yeah, I think Derek says we've seen flashes of Danilo. I think he will be a really important player for Rangers moving forward through the season. Again, just lacking in that match sharpness and match practice at the moment. Sima, on the other hand, has played a lot of football in pre-season. Again, you've seen some good stuff, you've seen some not so good stuff. I think he's pretty raw, but what he is, he's a big lad, he's powerful, he's got pace. Again, up front beside Dessers, he could be a real handful if they get the right service to the front too.
It's about finding the right combination, Kenny, as well, isn't it, of all these attacking players who've been brought in?
Well, that's what it is, it's finding that right formula, Rob. At the moment, it's really early days in relation to them all being in the building or on the pitch together, so it's finding the right combination, it's getting the relationships built between the players and what strengths they've got. You know, that's still to be worked out, but they just need to work out quickly. You know, that's it. Unfortunately, in Glasgow, you don't get a lot of time and you're constantly getting judged.
You're with BBC Radio Scotland, 66 minutes on the clock at Ibrox. Rangers 2, Servette 1. That late first half penalty really did change the picture. Bedia scoring after VAR intervened. The Dessers handball after he had scored Rangers' second goal. James Tavernier with a penalty to start things off. And well, we've had the expectation for some time, I think, that there were going to be more goals in the game, but at the moment it remains 2-1. Long ball played up towards Bedia, who stretched out a left foot but couldn't quite kill the ball, and it runs through to Butland and out to Connor Goldson.
I think you can see even the way that Servette have set up there in the attack. They're not just going to sit back when they've got a chance to attack. They're going to put bodies forward. They're going to try and get back into this game. You can see now that they're dropping back into that 4-4-1. It's two blocks of four. Even Bedia's dropping back in round Ryan Jack's area. It's going to be hard to break down. It's not going to be easy.
Not always as straightforward as it seems when it's 11 against 10. Barisic left side, cross ball punched away by Joel Mal. Looked like he could have been catching it. Goldson drives towards the edge of the area. Raskan to Tavernier and back again. Tavernier rolls it for Cantwell, and he plays a pass to the byline for Nicolas Raskin. You could see exactly what he was trying to do, but the ball just ran away from the Belgian and behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, just a little bit heavy with the pass, but I think it's what Rangers have got to do as well, you know, just keep playing, get the ball into wide areas, keep putting the ball in. You know, it doesn't have to be all this intricate, you know, lovely free-flowing football. You know, pin them back. You know, we're playing against 10 men. Keep asking the question, even if you're looking for those little second balls in and around the box. You know, and maybe that's your way of getting this third goal, because this is a big, strong, fit side with an unbelievable attitude. You know, they ain't going away. So Rangers have just got to keep probing, get it into the wide area. Certainly Tavernier, you know, I think he could get a lot more from Tavernier. You know, I'd like to see him bombing down this right hand side, you know, getting better deliveries in.
Well, here he is on the ball, and he chips in an awkward delivery, which Johan Severin meets. But all he can do is send the ball behind, and Rangers looking to make the most of this final quarter at Ibrox, having looked as if they were in cruise control when they were 2-0 up early in the first half. But
so this is taking an eternity. You know, get the ball down, put them under pressure, get the ball in the box.
Corner kick for Rangers on the right hand side. He's directing operations at the moment, the captain. Before he takes it, wants everyone in the right place. Now the corner kick fired in low. It's another brilliant save from Joël Mal. It was Desser, I think it was on the end of the corner kick. It went in low, caught it really well again, and the goalkeeper's made pretty much a mirror image save of the one he produced against Lammers earlier.
He did, and you know, and that's why Tavernier was wanting everybody into place, because they were working something. Run about to the penalty spot for Desser to come round and get the shot. You're Ryan Jack making the dummy run to the back. You need to make sure everybody's in the right positions, and you need to make sure that the pass and the execution's right. Dessers gets it right, Tavernier gets it right. It's just another wonderful save, coming through our rookie players as well. He's probably unsighted until it passes that last guy, and he gets down, probably fortunate enough, it's quite central, Rob, so he's still able to get a strong hand on it and get it away for the goal.
And he's the second choice keeper. Two fantastic saves, otherwise 4-1.
You know, and they're big saves and big moments.
Kenny still took an eternity, you know. The players should know where they should be in relation to the corner kick. You know, the hand goes up or whatever the communication is, and get the ball. You want to keep the pressure on this side, keep up the intensity.
Goldson to Tavernier, works the 1-2. Now he threads it through for Raskin. It runs all the way towards Sima after Raskin missed it. And Abdallah Sima could make nothing of that as he adjusts to the game off the bench.
And this will be a lesson as well. These Rangers players will come through this, these new signings. They'll feel the frustrations of the fans, and they need to stand up and be counted.
Another cross ball in from James Tavernier. It was Sima coming in at the back post. And a blast of the referee's whistle. And it's a free kick for Servette. It's just gone a little bit quiet at the moment inside Ibrox, because everyone wants a better, bigger advantage to take to Switzerland next week.
And this is it, though. This is what Derek was talking about with big players and these moments when this is a wonderful place to play. And Rangers still in a good position going into the last 18 minutes of this game. A man up, a goal up. They can go and still get a good result towards the end of it. But you just sense the tension in the fans, because the fans know it. They know they need more, and they know they should be getting more when you've got these advantages. And these Rangers players, who's it going to be? Who's going to stand up and take it with the scruff of the neck and go make it happen?
Kenny, that's a great point, because I think a few of those players out there, they're 2-1 up at the moment. They'll be wondering why. You know, there's a few murmurs going around the ground. You know, because that's what goes with this football club. You know, they expect to win, but do a little bit of style as well and win handsomely.
Tavernier almost at the corner of the box, right hand side. Lammers to Jack. Now with Goldson. Ryan Jack again having a look up at what's on. To Tavernier it goes. Lammers lays it off, gives it away. The pass is not finding targets at the moment, and Servette are encouraged, and they drive forward. Down the left hand side goes Severin. Rangers have it back. Cantwell on the ball. Listen to the noise. Wide with Tavernier. Cuts inside the captain. Then plays the ball wide where Cantwell has replaced him. Tavernier involved again. The ball runs through to Ryan Jack and he lets it slip under his boot. It was a lovely leave by Dessert. Jack was in, but he couldn't get control of the ball at the crucial moment.
Yeah, it's very narrow, you know. They're trying to play through that middle area, and you've got to be so precise.
Lammers with his back to goal at the edge of the area, plays it out to Goldson. On the touchline is Tavernier. Sam Lammers again, little shimmy, rolls it in with his back to goal. Dessert looked to play it out towards Jack, but there was a Servette player in the way, and these are frustrating moments for Rangers as they can't quite find the key to unlock this defence and strike again. Jack starting things off in the midfield. Across the pitch it goes to Cantwell. Wide for Barisic. Can he find the room to deliver? It's a great ball in towards Lammers, and struck it on the half volley. He was under pressure. It wasn't a clear strike by any manner of means, and it goes way over the top and behind Mal's goal.
And it's just these final touches, Rob. It's Dessert leaving it great for Ryan Jack, just miscontrols it. Dessert then misplacing the lay. It was Cantwell just over hitting the pass for the Raskin run. These situations, they just need to be, like Derek says, a little bit cleaner, more precise in those final actions. That's where you, again, the likes of Cantwell's, you expect him to have that calmness in that situation.
Heading forward from Ryan Jack, and Dessert chasing and getting it. Determined play. Now Lammers at the edge of the box, onto the left foot, tries the left foot curler, is blocked. The cheers, the shouts for a penalty are coming from the stands rather than on the pitch after that Lammers shot was blocked. The Rangers come again. There's going to be chances of plenty, you would think, between now and full time. Can Rangers take one? Tavernier, Jack, Cantwell, left side of the pitch, goes wider still for Barisic. Cantwell pops up again, back it goes to Suter, working it across to Goldson. Servette are pinned in here, back it goes from Raskin to Jack and out wide. Barisic loops it up towards the back post, shows too much of it to the goalkeeper, and he flops to the ground. Joel Mal with the ball in his gloves, and if he looks up at the clock he will see we have 15 minutes to go.
It's good pressure from Rangers, you know, just working it, you know, side to side, but it's just that final pass, just can't quite find it. Rangers going to make a couple of substitutions now
as the ball is launched down the pitch. Well, if the scoreline stays this way, Servette will feel like they've won a watch, presumably a Swiss watch, because this scoreline does not still tell the story of the game. Rangers will want more of a reward for the second leg to come. Kieran Dowell is going to be on the pitch shortly for Rangers. Jose Cifuentes as well. But the ball is in play, and it's wide left with Barisic, fires it in low. Cantwell is there, can't make too much headway, but Jack retrieves it, and it's across the pitch from Goldson to Raskin, and Dessert right side of the box pulls it back, and it just batters off the boots of Nicholas Raskin, and it goes behind disappointingly for Rangers for a goal kick. Here come the changes. Ryan Jack is off, and Jose Cifuentes, the Ecuadorian international, will take his place in the midfield. Up comes Sam Lammers as well, and Kieran Dowell is the replacement. Well, he should have scored first half, but he was denied by a wonder save second half, Lammers.
Yeah, he'll be disappointed he's not opened his account, particularly that one in the first half. I mean, he'd done everything right with the second half one. It was just a wonderful save. But I think it was a better performance for Lammers tonight. He was more involved. You know, I think he's kind of been on the periphery of the games that I've seen so far, but he was far more involved tonight. I think that goes for pretty much all the Rangers attacking players based on how they started this game. First sight of Cifuentes in a Rangers jersey. It'll be interesting to see how he performs in this last 13-14 minutes.
As forward goes John Suter, crossing halfway for Rangers, steering a pass wide to Tavernier. Infield, Cifuentes, number 15 on his back, plays the ball to Cantwell. Fired into the edge of the area, Dessert, Cantwell, and it just came at Todd Cantwell a bit too quickly there. As he was bursting into the penalty box, and it just cannons off the former Norwich midfielder and behind for a goal kick. Here comes a change now for Servette. And it's going to be Ronnie Rodelan is coming off, and it is beginning to resemble Land of the Giants for Servette, because he's not that much shorter than 6'5" Biba, who came on earlier, and he is the latest replacement on the pitch for Servette. They're not rushing the change as you would expect, because if you offered them this scoreline to take to Switzerland next week, they would bite your hand off with 10 men.
Certainly would, Rob. And you've got to say they've been, their attitude is quite incredible. They've came here, they've handled the situation. I think Kenny was quite right to point out the Rangers players handling, the occasion as well. And so far, you've got to say, yeah, they have just. It's the big moments in the game. Lammers has just went off. I thought he gave a good account of himself. And another night he could have been getting away with a couple of goals. Certainly the first one should have been in the back of the net, but that wonderful save from Mal. But Rangers, they've still got plenty of time. They've got 10 minutes. This should be a side that should start to tire. But Rangers have got to keep the foot in the gas, got to keep getting the ball into the box, try to create. It's just that final pass just been missing.
And talking of goal scorers, it was Chris Bedia who went off to be replaced by Rodelan. And it was he, of course, who tucked away that penalty late first half to keep up his scoring start to the season, and to give his team a big lifeline at that stage, and it remains that way. As Cifuentes is short with his pass for Tavernier, who was marauding down the right flank. The ball goes out for a throw-in. Tavernier takes it and gets the ball back. Dowell with a cross ball in towards Sima, who knocks it down. Comes straight back to Abdallah Sima, and he struck the shot really well with his right boot, but it was straight at Joel Mal.
Yeah, it was a good effort. It came to him really, really quickly. He's tried to knock it down. It was a crossfield pass for Dowell, headed down for Sima in the direction of Dessert, and it just comes back to him really quick off the ground. Catches it on the volley, but unfortunately, normally you can see them just pull them into the corner. It just goes right down Mal's throat, and at the moment, everything seems to be falling for Mal.
And the clock at the moment is moving too quickly for the Rangers fans as well, because we've gone inside the last 10 minutes. They want more from this tonight, as Servette look to threaten again, but their latest attack fizzled out, and now Rangers look to be more meaningful, with Dessert laying the ball off for Cantwell, who can't quite control it. It was won by the giant figure of Biba in the midfield, and he tidies up and he sends the ball back to his goalkeeper. That's terrific play from Dowell, who gets back to win it. Everything looked against him as Severin strode out of defence for Servette. And Rangers have it now with Cantwell on the left-hand side, playing with his head up, having a look. Dowell fires it in, looking to link with Dessert. It was blocked, but it's straight back into Rangers' possession again, and Barisic with the cross ball, maybe a little bit obvious that time and blocked. Maybe tiredness is beginning to set in as Barisic is caught in possession this time and drops to the ground, hoping for a free kick, but I don't think anyone was going to be taken in by that. He looks pretty knackered, to be honest.
Yeah, you don't get that time against this side. They've been at it right from the off, but you can see there's still work to be done from Rangers. Those little passages of play in and around the box, not quite that kind of slickness that Michael Beale would have been hoping yet. So it is a work in progress, but it's a little bit frustrating for the fans, obviously. But you can see that there's signs there, that it is coming. But just that little final piece of the jigsaw, it's just been missing tonight.
one more goal, Kenny, would make all the difference.
Yeah, absolutely would, Rob. You know, and it should have came in the first half with the play and the start that they had and that Lammer's chance. At the moment, they're just not doing enough. They've not really created too many clear-cut chances out with the Lammer's opportunity, which Mal then obviously made that wonderful save. They just need to be more. It's just things like that. You're passing out the pitch, you're giving Servette an opportunity just to slow the game down, run the clock down, and again, if they can escape here with a 2-1, they'll be absolutely delighted. But Rangers have got to do more. Similarly Saturday, you need to find a way to get this goal or make them ask them these questions that they asked in the first half in that first 25 minutes.
Cifuentes down the right side, linking with Dowell, the two subs. Dowell's cross left-footed. Well, the minute he struck it, there was far too much on that, way beyond Sima, and bouncing behind for a goal kick, and that just plays into Servette's hands at this stage.
Certainly does, and there was a little example there, you know, a player still getting to know each other. Cervantes, who's just come on, you can see he wants to play the ball into space for Tavernier, you know, to force him to get down the line, you know, but Tavernier, he doesn't want the ball into space, he wants it to feet. But that ball from Dowell, you know, it should be a lot better than that, you know, and he should be fresh, he should be coming on full of beans, but you know, you're looking certainly for better from him, from that area. Just looking at the expression on Michael Beale's face in close-up moments ago on the TV monitor, and it just told you everything. He'll be delighted at lots of aspects about the Rangers' performance tonight. He'll feel, as Derek's been saying, there's so much work to be done, and he's also desperate for the ball to be in the back of the net one more time, and to have that 2-goal advantage to take to Geneva. Even though Rangers can be convinced they'll get chances in that second leg as well. Cantwell with a good ball into the box, and it's pretty well defended, and it ends up back in the gloves of the goalkeeper with two Rangers players pretty keen to get on the end of that.
So what I just felt it was maybe a chance for him to take it forward and get a shot away there. I mean, it's a tough pass he's trying to do. He's trying to give it the no-look pass, reversing it through a couple of players, but he had space to take. You know, go and get a shot off at goal for 20-22 yards.
Yeah, I think the better option there, you know, that pass, the weight of pass would have to be absolute inch perfect. I think you're right, Kenny, just take a touch forward, you know, and have a strike at goal, even a deflection, anything at this moment in time, just to get Rangers that third goal.
But the night starts so positive, it starts on the front foot, it gets 2 goals in the first 15 minutes, and you're absolutely dominating. But this is when you're playing here and things just turn. That's when, where's the character to continually producing your best moments, making good decisions. By the way, still, I know they're trying and they're running and things, but just that little bit of quality's just been missing. That calmness, like I say, you expect Cantwell in these moments, in the final third, to have that presence of mind to execute, and have that little calmness of the touch or the way to pass. Just not happened yet.
I don't think it's the shock of the night to find out that the sponsors man of the match is Todd Cantwell. He has been fantastic, but right at the moment, there's a threat, a live threat from Servette when they get into the final third. Rangers defend it pretty well, but it is Servette in possession of the ball at the moment. 10 against 11, but they're managing to hold on to possession here against tired-looking Rangers who look to lift their performance for the closing minutes and find another goal. That's the plan. The ball is even bouncing off Todd Cantwell at the moment, not quite sticking for him. On the wide left with Kuteza, plays in the cross ball, headed away by Barisic. He's down on the turf, looking as if he's got some cramp issues. Play goes on. Tavernier flicks it through to Dowell. Dessert into the middle, and the final pass, which has been happening pretty regularly in the last 10 minutes, goes astray.
Yeah, that typifies certainly the second half. No, players not in the same wavelength. You know, listen, we're not going to point the finger in terms of a lack of effort, but you're not just quite getting, you know, that final pass, that little bit of slickness that they need, and that final third in and around the box. But, you know, they've got to keep at it, try and find this third.
Shima with his back to goal from an angle, and I think there was a handball as the ball was being controlled by Abdallah Sima, and a free kick goes Servette's way. Rangers will take the opportunity to make a couple of late switches. Cyril Desser is coming off, and Yanis Hadji will take his place, and Scott Wright is going to be introduced late on as well to take over from Nico Ruskamp. So it's a last roll of the dice from Michael Beale with just 2 minutes of regulation time remaining, hoping that Rangers can find a little bit of late spark to get the goal they so desperately want to add to that 2-1 advantage.
Well, that's it. That's the last throw of the dice. Like you say, there is some attacking, creative players on that field there now, Rob. It's can someone pick that pass? Can someone take that moment to go and get this goal? Because it could be oh so important going into the second leg across in Geneva next week.
Just looking at Rennie Weiler there, who must have feared what was about to unfold tonight when his team went 2-0 down inside 15 minutes, and suddenly you cut to virtually 89 minutes, and it's 2-1. And well,
Rob actually thought that the tie could have been put to bed in that first half. The way the game, the way it was panning out, you know, that Lammers miss, you know, Rangers go 3-0 up, you're thinking they could go on, it could be 4 and 5, but then obviously the Desser, the handball, they get back into it and they've grown confidence, and as I say, they've got a fantastic attitude this side, a fit side, and it's a side that's weakened as well, you know, not their first choice keeper, although their keeper tonight's pulled off a couple of magnificent saves.
Barisic floats it across, Tavernier up for the header. Dowell tries to keep it alive, across it goes to Cantwell, flicked out wide. Barisic looks to set something up, and the flashing header has gone wide. It's also a clash of heads in the penalty box, and the physios are getting on the pitch, sharpish.
Yeah, there's a bit of claret there, certainly in the Servette player.
Yeah, both players down, so there's going to be a delay here and some extra time to be added on. We're almost at 90 minutes anyway. It was the Barisic cross, it was Sima trying to get his head on the end of it, and there was a pretty painful coming together. Well, 6 minutes to be added, but that could well become 7 or 8 because both players are still down getting treatment.
Yeah, they need to take their time and make sure, like Derry says, there was some blood there. They need to make sure that both players are able to continue first and foremost, and they're okay. But what it is they've got 6 minutes for whenever the game starts for Rangers to try and go and get... Listen, they're 2-1 up. It's not the end of the world. It's just the way the game shaped up from the start. There was a real energy about the performance. There was some real quality in the moves, slick passing, 1-2 touch combinations, and really, really good movements in the final third. You just expected Rangers to do it. But what it goes to show is not only this team got heart and they've got desire and they've got belief, and there's a grit and determination about them. It just goes to show how quickly momentum can shift in football. That goal goes in for Lammers. It's 3-0. I feel that it's game done. You know, I really do. I know what just says all the qualities that they've got, but at 3-0, it's a long, long way back. And Rangers would have been on a high at that moment. You fast forward 2 minutes later, 3 minutes later, there's a penalty at the other end, and it's 2-1 right before half time. The momentum just shifts in the second half. And Derek says, like, a lot of these resituations have been symptomatic of the second half performance. Misplaced passes, out the pitch, simple passes that are going out the pitch. They're giving Servette something to hang on to, and they're just allowing them the time to run down the clock. It's not been a good second half, and they'll have felt the frustrations of this fans. This will be the first time they've played it in a real competitive game. Yeah. And this is what it's like when you're not going to be, when everything's not going your own way and the other team are coming in there. And they need to get used to it, and used to it quick, because they'll be facing so many games where they're facing resolute, dogged, determined defences over the course of this season.
You would have to say the 2 saves are massive as well, aren't they, in the game? Because even if one of those goes in, it's 3-1 rather than 2-1.
It becomes a different game. It does, Rob. I think we all know that, because at 3-1, when they're down to 10 men, again, we're talking about momentum. That could have just it could have been a real body blow for Servette, and it might have given Rangers the lift that they needed at a really, really important time of the game. but never. The keeper made 2 saves, and again they've got something to hold on to. They'll be absolutely delighted to leave here with a 2-1 tonight if that's the case. Take it back next week, and we all know it is tough. Doesn't matter where you travel, European football away games, it's always tough when you're travelling.
It was Steve Rouillet, the Servette captain, who was their player involved in that clash of heads with Sima. Sima's up and about and he's okay now, but it's taken a while to patch up the skipper for Servette. He's got a bandage round his head, and he's going to battle on here through the closing moments, and we are talking closing moments because we're already well into stoppage time.
The only criticism I would say, Rob and Kenny, you know, they found success in the first half down the left-hand side, first 20-25 minutes. Then they stopped doing it, and most of this second half they've kept trying to probe through the middle, little kind of intricate passes, little give and goes. It's not quite worked. Sometimes just do the simple thing, work the ball into a wide area and get quality deliveries. And Barisic and Tavernier, you know, that's a strength that they have. I just think we've tried to be a little bit, for my liking, a little bit too clever at times in this second half period.
Well, the bandaging of Rouillet's head was a bit of a waste of time because he's going off. He was pretty keen to stay on, but
he's not happy about it either.
No, he's not. But he has replaced Anthony Baron as the player who comes on to replace him inside stoppage time, as Servette look to hang on to what they've got, which is a 2-1 deficit, which they will feel they can turn round next week. And the damage could have been a whole lot greater for them tonight had Rangers really cashed in. Can they find something in these closing minutes to boost the advantage as the ball goes back from Tavernier to Butland?
It's the first time for a while my neck's actually looked down towards this way, towards Jack Butland's goal. It's been so much kind of dominance for Rangers without really creating too many opportunities to score.
Ball with Tavernier on the touchline, right hand side. Yanis Hadji takes it and turns and has a look, works it towards his left foot, flicks it towards Dowell just outside the area, tries the left foot shot, took a deflection on its way through, but it's comfortable in the end. He's made a couple of special saves tonight. That one didn't have to be for Joël Mal. He's comfortably behind it, and he takes time in getting rid of the ball here because Servette are very happy with what they've got at the moment.
But again, it's like Derry says, it's funneling through the centre of the pitch. There's like 4, 5, 6 Servette players there. Hadji chopped, and I think he looked right to see where Tavernier was, and Tav's away back here. He should be up there in the final line of the game. Again, where he's dangerous, where he has been for 6, 7 years.
Barisic, left-hand side, gets another cross ball in. There have been plenty of them from him. The substitute Baron gets it away. Rangers flip the ball in. Cantwell lofts it into the penalty box, but they're managing to clear everything at the moment, Servette.
Just think, Kenny, at this stage, with this side that Michael Beale's put together, I don't think we're good enough to go through the middle, you know, and I think that's why, just keep it simple, you know, work it into the wider areas. We have got quality, you know, in terms of the delivery from Tavernier. I've been a little bit disappointed in Tavernier tonight. I think he should have shown a little bit more energy, certainly bombing down this right hand side, and at times I think he's played well within himself.
It's just a little bit untidy from Rangers at this stage. Cantwell overrunning it, then Cifuentes gave it away. Scott Wright unable to have an impact off the bench, and it is all fizzling out at the moment for Rangers. Yes, it's a win, but it's not the scale of victory that they thought they were onto in the first half, and they will have to produce another top performance next Tuesday night if they are to ensure that they are through to the next hurdle that has to be surmounted on the way to the group stages of the Champions League.
And that's what it is, because all the good work that was done early has kind of been undone a little bit by the kind of nature of the performance and how it's went down. That you'll be leaving here tonight as a Rangers fan, you're 2-1 up, you've got a lead going into the second leg next week, but I still think there's a lot of questions unanswered about this team, you know, and about the signings and about the performances. Again, style was talked about beforehand. I don't think it's that. I just think it's having that ruthlessness about you to go when you're on top of a team. Go and put them to the sword.
Deep into stoppage time at Ibrox, and it is Servette who are on the attack. They're in possession of the ball, 10 men against 11. A curling cross in from Severin is headed away. It's going to be another throw in for the Swiss team down towards the corner flag. They're managing the game perfectly as far as they're concerned at the moment. We're inside the 98th minute at Ibrox, and there won't be too long to go here as Cifuentes forces the ball behind, and it will be a corner kick for Servette, and they're not in a desperate rush to take this.
Well, I'll tell you though, Rob, they're still piling the bodies forward. I don't think they're going to be keeping this in the corner, which might be a ploy if you're at this stage of the game with the scoreline it is with a man down, but it looks like they're going to put it in and try and go for this equaliser.
Corner kick, left-hand side. The game almost over. 2-1 Rangers. It's going to be Cognac to play this in beyond the back post. A couple of unmarked Servette players, and in the end the ball flies high from an angle over the top of the crossbar. But just for a moment from that corner kick, you were a little bit concerned at the overload for Servette.
Yeah, 2 players at the back post area, you know, nobody marking them. I think they're a slight worry as well. You know, this is a weakened side that Servette have put out tonight, so they've got players to come back, and that's why we're.
Barisic with a cross ball, and Abdallah Sima with a flashing header, and it ends up going well wide of target. It was half a chance for him on the end of a good delivery.
Yeah, and that's why we're disappointed. You know, you certainly thought in that first half hour, that this tie could have been put to bed, but you know, Servette, they'll go away with a lot of confidence from tonight, and they'll fancy their chances with the players to come back from injury and suspension. So Rangers have got a hell of a lot of work to do still.
And they'll take a psychological boost, Kenny, into that second game as well, won't they? Playing with 10 men as they've been doing for quite some time here. They've soaked up a lot, and they've still carried a threat, and they're looking pretty comfortable here at seeing out this game.
Well, they are, and it's a big psychological boost, because they've maybe seen the best of what Rangers had in that first half an hour, and they've came through it. Is there to be one last chance for Rangers? Sima down the left side of the penalty box. His cross is blocked, the ball goes out, up goes the flag for offside, and that could be just about that here tonight. Well, I think with the next clearance of the ball, I think that might be the final whistle of goal. We're well deep into the stoppage time now, and it looks like Servette have survived. Yeah, we've added about 10 minutes, and that is full time at Ibrox, in a game that kicked off with great excitement as Rangers raced into a 2-goal lead. Ends up in serious frustration at the end. Yes, Rangers have still won the game, but it's a 2-1 winning margin, which keeps Servette very much in the battle to reach the Champions League playoff round. A story of missed opportunities, big saves as well to frustrate Rangers, but having gone 2 up early on with James Tavernier's penalty and Cyril Desser tapping in from the Barisic cross, Sam Lammers really should have been tucking in goal number 3, and would Servette have crumbled at that stage? We will never know. Back they came with the aid of a VAR decided penalty late first half, and it was Chris Bedia who rifled in a left footer to make it 2-1 at the interval into the second half, and a couple of remarkable saves from Joël Mal to deny Desser, and Lammers with 2 pretty similar saves, stunning saves as well. And Rangers in the end seemed to run out of ideas. They were unable really to reproduce the high tempo football that they played early on, unable to create many more cast iron chances, and they have to settle for the 2-1 advantage and hope that they can produce a top performance next week. It's going to have to be in Geneva if they're going to have their wish and cross this first hurdle on the way to the group stages, they hope, of the Champions League. Final score at Ibrox tonight under the lights: Rangers 2, Servette 1.
Plenty of drama here at Ibrox this evening in the Champions League qualifier. Rangers 2, Servette 1. Tavernier with a penalty on 6 minutes. Desser's on 15. A penalty right before the break for Servette. They were reduced to 10 men on 59 minutes, but Rangers couldn't capitalise. Of course, they dominated possession in that second period. Lots of balls across the face of the area. 2 terrific saves from the Servette goalkeeper. So I'd imagine frustration from the Rangers manager Michael Beale when we hear from him live on Sports Sound this evening. Derek Ferguson, your final thoughts on that game? The whistle blew in the 100th minute. So many talking points tonight, but is frustration the right word for Rangers?
Absolutely, Kenny. Started ever so well, raced into that 2-goal lead, looking good. Cantwell playing out his skin. Lammers, absolutely great opportunity, to make it 3, and probably, at that moment you were thinking Rangers could go on and win this tie, 4 or 5, well, this leg of this 2-legged tie tonight, 4 or 5 goals. But the but is, when Lammers misses that opportunity 2 or 3 minutes later, Deza, that handball, they'll get back into it, and gave them some confidence. Well, great confidence in this team. They've showed a great physicality, a great attitude to the game, a great willingness to work, and again go down to 10 men. They kept at it, but the reason I'm feeling that frustration is that the second half, I was thinking there was going to be a whole lot better from Rangers. I think they tried to be a little bit too clever, a little bit too intricate in terms of playing through the middle. I think the easier thing would to be work the ball into the wider areas, get deliveries as we had in the first half from Barisic, maybe Tavernier, but it wasn't to be. So as I say, it seemed to just fizzle out a little bit towards the end. So there's a lot of work to be done if Rangers are going to get through this tie and go into that Champions League playoff, whether it's Sturm Graz or PSV. But just a sense of frustration. It started ever so well, but towards the end, that frustration is kicked in, I think, with most people within the ground.
Yeah, no doubt, Kenny Miller, this tie is very much in the balance. What did you make of the overall performance this evening?
A bit of tale of two halves, to be honest with you. I think obviously the goal right at the end of the first half, it does change the whole picture. But I think in the second half you've got to regroup. Listen, it was a penalty, it was simple as that. It was unfortunate for Dessa that it hit his hand. He never knew much about it, but it was a penalty. But they had to draw for what happened in that first 25 minutes and the energy they showed and the quality. And again, like Derek says, how they got their chances. They got their chances by simple play. Though some really good intricate play through the middle initially, finding it wide, Barisic put it in the box. Good combination plays on the right hand side, getting into the box, Cantwell being alive. Their goals came from simple play. But when the second half came, you're right, they ran out of ideas, very like at the weekend where they're trying to get back into a game against Kilmarnock or even trying to break them down to take the lead at Kilmarnock. They've just not got that quite spark at the moment, maybe to play the way Michael would like them to play, which is quick play, combination play, a lot of movement and things through the middle of the pitch. But this team are dogged. They had something to protect tonight. Once they got that goal, going away for here with a 2-1, particularly when they went down to 10 men, it gives them something to protect. And like you say, this tie is very much alive. What Rangers need to be looking at is look at this first half, because whether these players will be coming back next week or, I think, irrespective of that, if Rangers can get to that level, they know they're going to get chances, even away from home. And it might suit them being away from home again, just taking a step away from here. You sense the frustrations tonight, you could feel the tensions. Going away from home and you can maybe alter the style a little bit. There's definitely going to be counter-attacking opportunities against that team. You've seen that tonight. There will be again next week. And let's just remind ourselves, it's still 2-1. They're still ahead in the tie. If they go there next week and don't get beat, they're through. They're into the playoffs. But it's the manner again that I think going away for you tonight, it's a win. But it's how Rangers won. It's how they performed in that last kind of hour of the game. There was a lot of kind of low-key stuff. There was a lot of mistakes made in that final third in terms of the passes, the decisions, all these combinations that Michael wants his team to play and how he wants his team to look never quite came off. Again, going back to what Derek says, sometimes football's pretty simple. They got the ball wide to Barisic, they got opportunities. They got the ball wide to Tavernier, opportunities came. Two kind of a ball into the box and a pass into the box. That's what got them the first 2 goals. So again, there's something they've got to look at. I even thought on Saturday, I thought they could have maybe put more crosses into the box from the areas and the qualities they've got. You play to your player strengths. Barisic, his biggest strength probably is his delivery into the box. Tavernier, you've seen now for 8 years, he can score, but he's got a wonderful delivery in the box. And maybe Derek's right, maybe he wasn't high enough up the pitch in certain situations, and when he did get the opportunity, maybe the quality wasn't quite there. But again, that could be said for the rest of his teammates as well. Cantwell overhitting passes, Jack misreading the situations. Yeah, I think Rangers there is a lot more to come, I've no doubt about it. Danilo has to get up to speed, there's no doubt about it. You can see he'll be a really good player for Rangers, but needs to get up to speed.
Right, let's hear from the Rangers captain, James Tavernier. He's speaking with Jane Lewis.
James, you won the game in the end. Is there a bit of a frustration that you didn't add to that tally to take over to Geneva next week?
Yeah, obviously it's a bit disappointing. Obviously they go 10 men. But whenever you play against 10 men, they always go into a block, and I felt that we could have been maybe a bit more patient around the final third, and we created some really good chances. But obviously we go there 1 goal up, but we'll obviously treat that game as we're going in 0-0. So it's a good start, a better performance compared to the weekend. So we move on from this.
And do you feel that obviously with another game under your belt, which you'll get on Saturday before that second leg, the performance will only improve? And does that give you confidence that you can go out there and finish the job?
Yeah, it's another game to gel together, and whoever's asked to play on the weekend, they're going to give it 100%, and anyone who's asked to play the second leg, we're going to give it our all to make sure we're in the next round. So yeah, we've just got to keep working hard, keep pushing, and the results will come.
Do you feel that there is now a bit more cohesion, a bit more understanding, especially with the new guys that have come in?
Yeah, I felt that we'd given more of a chance to score today. There was more deliveries from myself and Borna, and throughout the team. So I'm delighted to see Cyril get on the score sheet. But I'm sure that more boys will add to the tally.
Thanks for your time, appreciate it.
Cheers, thank you.
James Tavernier there, Derek. They were playing against 10 men from the 59th minute onwards. Why do you believe they didn't capitalise on that? Is it perhaps a lack of understanding with so many new signings?
Lack of width, Kenny.
Yeah.
At times, as I said, I was a little bit disappointed in the second half because they kept probing through the middle, those little kind of intricate passes. It's got to be ever so precise. I think at times, even kind of work it into a wider area where you don't even need to beat the fullback or the wide defender. Just create a yard or two of space and put a delivery in, and that's what Tavernier and that's what Barisic have got in abundance. They've got a brilliant delivery, and I don't think Rangers did that enough in the second half. They talk about a style of play, and maybe that is what Michael Beale wants to do. He wants to play those little give and goes in and around the area, but the players, it's clear to see they're not quite on the same wavelength at the moment. Those little give and goes, that comes over time. It's you build up a relationship. Players when they're going to make that move, when they're going to come off a defender. But it was frustrating for me. It wasn't working, and that's why I'm trying to say to Kenny, say to Rob, just where did you get success in the first half? It was simple, and we could see it clearly here. Work the ball into a wide area. Barisic, they weren't getting close to him. Great deliveries into the box, and we get the goals. And even the one in the second half, I think it's Raskin works it into Barisic, Tavernier, and then he doesn't take a touch, just whips it first time. Lammers, a great connection. What a save it is. But that's why I'm trying to say it's not rocket science. Just sometimes do the simple things, do them effectively, and sometimes you get the rewards. I just think they kept at it. They kept probing through the middle, and it just wasn't happening.
It's very early days, of course, Ken, in terms of the new signings, but just talk us through some of them tonight, what you make of them. Jack Butland, he had very little to do. He seems a bit of a leader out there. He was quite active, quite vociferous, it appeared on the part, but he really wasn't tested too much tonight. But just looking through the outfield players who are new to this club, what's your assessment? Yeah, listen, I think you're right about Jack Butland. He'll be a big signing. Somebody like that had to come in and replace Alan McGregor, and he never had too much to do. But what he done well. He done it well. I still think the likes of Dowell, the likes of Lammers, Seema, Danilo, they're still needing to get right up to speed. They need to find their feet quickly, because the bottom line is Rangers need to win games. They need to do it. I think I've seen enough in Danilo so far to think that as soon as he does get the matches under his belt, I think he'll be a big player.
I think there's a lot of questions still surrounding the majority. Since Cifuentes came in tonight, maybe looked a little bit uncomfortable on the ball, but I'll tell you, he looked like an animal winning the ball back. He won the ball back a couple of times, and then set up a couple of counter-attacks. And again, for all the reports and watching what he's actually, how he plays the game, I think he'll be an important player for Rangers in the middle of the pitch. But any game, particularly domestically, Rangers are going to have so much of the ball. It's how they're going to impact it at the top end of the pitch. It's clearly an area with Morelos leaving, with Kent leaving, with Tillman going back to Bayern Munich. It was always going to be an area that needed to be recruited in, and Michaels went there heavily, and he needed to do it heavily. But that's where Rangers are going to decide whether they'll be successful or not. The rest of the guys, it's still important that you don't concede a lot of goals, and the midfielders have obviously got roles to play. But these guys need to get up to speed quickly about the Scottish game, effectively, because what you faced on Saturday is what you're going to be facing probably 8-9 games out of 10. It's going to be tough to break down. And the one thing about these Scottish teams, they don't give anything up easily, which is why when you're talking about how do you do it, you've got to try and make them defend. You've got to ask them questions. You have to move them more. I think Rangers need to have more movement. You've seen it for Danilo early on in the game tonight. He made that run beyond from a pass from Goldson. Rangers need to have more of that, because what it'll do is it'll create more space for the Cantwells, for the Lammers, for the Raskins in that midfield area by stretching the game. I feel sometimes there's too much played in front of them. Desser's great for him to get his goal tonight. That's another thing about the Lammers miss. You need to go off the mark. You want to go off the mark as an attacking player. Had Lammers put that in the back of the net for 3-0, he's up and running. Dessers is up and running. I think even psychologically for these new players, it's a bit of a monkey off their back as well. So Desser's got his goal tonight, so you're coming away for it. It's a winning goal as well, so he'll be coming away for it feeling pretty positive, but there's still a lot to be going on for this new signing.
Well, let's hear from Cyril Dessers. He's been speaking with Jane Lewis.
Cyril, it was quite a strange old game for you, wasn't it? But first of all, how delighted are you to get off the mark from a Rangers point of view?
It's an amazing feeling to make your first goal for Rangers in the shirt in the stadium. That's an amazing feeling. I'm also happy that we get the win here. It wasn't an easy game for us, especially after the red card. We complicated too much for ourselves, but I think. It's only our second official game. We're going to grow from here on, and I'm confident.
You were in control at 2-0, weren't you? And then obviously they get the penalty after you handled the ball in the area. Can you put your finger on why you then couldn't resume that control as the game went on, especially against 10 men as well?
No, I think we had a lot of control during the whole game. We were dominating, maybe without or not enough big open chances, but we were dominating, and I think we were like a little bit too sloppy, myself and the team as well. And I think if we can get that out of our game next week, or starting this weekend and then next week against Servette, then I think we're gonna go to a nice season.
Good luck with the second leg. Thank you.
Cyril Dessers there, who's on the score sheet for Rangers this evening. Want to speak about Yanis Hadji, Derek. He come on as a second half substitute. Do you still think he's got a big future at this football club?
I'm not so sure. I don't think he'll be a starting player under Michael Beale, and I think at this stage his career, obviously he missed a lot of football with the bad injury, obviously the cruciate, so he'll be wanting to be playing first team football. I don't see it, to be honest with you. Is he want to be here at Ibrox as an impact player? I'm not so sure, but that game at times was crying out, certainly in that second half, for that little bit of creativity. When did they come on, Kenny? What was it, 2 or 3 minutes to go? It doesn't give you a lot of time, to go and show what you're all about. But it's interesting when you listen to Dessler saying there, we get sloppy. They look sloppy in the second half. And you try to kind of work out why is that? Is it, and that's what I am trying to say, is it because it's new players coming together, they're trying to build relationships? Is it a fitness thing as well? Is it that match sharpness? And he's saying, we'll get it right next week. Well, that's a problem. It's been a slow burn throughout pre-season. It's not been a good watch. Saturday night was very frustrating. And then tonight, when you got off to a fantastic start, you get an opportunity, not just to win the game handsomely, but, effectively kill the tie. And you end up coming away, only winning 2-1. The Servette team will go back home, bang, in confidence and fancying their chances. So we have got a Rangers Football Club have got a lot to to answer and a lot to make up for in this second the second leg. So it's just I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated for everyone within the ground, because it could have been so much better and it just seemed to fizzle out towards the end. So but in Hadji, no, I think he'll see his future elsewhere, to be honest with you, Kenny.
So this tie still very much in the balance. The return leg next Tuesday evening in Geneva. That match is a sellout. The winners will play either PSV Eindhoven or Sturm Graz in the Champions League playoff. PSV beating Sturm Graz 4-1 last night. So of course, if Rangers do get through these two ties, it will be Champions League group stage football once again. Really disappointing last season, of course, humiliated in quite a few games that they have another opportunity perhaps to experience that again this season, but a lot of work to do for Michael Beale's side. What they do know is that regardless of whether it's this round or the next round, if they do go out, they will be guaranteed European group stage football. They will drop into the group stages of the Europa League. We're just waiting to hear from the Rangers manager, Michael Beale. He's been speaking with our sports scene colleagues. This game, of course, live on BBC Scotland as well this evening. Stephen Thompson, Neil McCann and Alan Hutton providing the coverage there. They've been chatting with the Rangers manager, so we'll get that very shortly. Kenny, what are you expecting to hear from him this evening? He'll have to be some positives on this, won't he?
Of course he will. He'll be talking a lot about the first half performance and how it came together and the energy that was created. Again, the fast start, the goals that were scored. He'll then be talking about, again, feeling a little bit frustrated that they maybe got a little bit sloppy in the second half. They never quite had that killer touch or that final pass where they were overhitting it or they were making the wrong choice. But ultimately, he'll be happy in the sense that they're taking a lead across to Geneva next week. He'll know his team can go there and win. There's no doubt about it. He'll know there's a lot more to come from not just the new signings but the team as a whole. So he'll always be speaking on the positive side. He'll be speaking about how the fans have turned up again and give them the full support and the backing that they did. So there is a lot of positives in there. And sometimes when you're caught in it and you've just watched a situation, you expect it to go a certain way and it doesn't go that way. Sometimes you can feel a little bit more kind of down and negative about it from what it actually is. Definitely when you watch it back, there'll be a lot of positives I think that Michael will take from it, but there'll be a lot of things they need to do better. And again, namely for me in an attacking sense, I think they need to be cleaner in these combinations. They need to be probably a little bit more wider in using the strengths that they've got. But listen, it'll be positive. It's a win, and they move on to Saturday first, and then on to next week. Yeah,
full coverage on Saturday as we return to the domestic action on Sports. And let's now hear from the Rangers manager, Michael Beale, who's actually been speaking with our colleague Jane Lewis.
Michael, give us your thoughts on that one. Was that a tad frustrating in the end, despite the fact, of course, you go over there with a win?
Yeah, we'll have to take the win and go there and get in a good performance next week. We was always going to have to do that. I think a mixture of... It was a fantastic start, first of all. We play with real energy, we run forward, we give a lot to the game. We created so many chances. The reality is that at 2-0, it's a harsh penalty, but it is one, and that's what VAR is there for. But also we missed big chance just before that. The goalkeeper made two fantastic saves, one from Sam, one from Cyril second half, and we had a lot of good opportunities where you can see that we're fine-tuning and we'll get better over time. But we knew this is Champions League, so you know the other team are always dangerous, have got good players, and we'll have to go there Tuesday, and the job's only half done.
Did you see enough this evening, albeit that you are a tad frustrated? Did you see enough, though, that the cohesion will come, more understanding will come? Of course, you've got another game to play under your belt, get under your belt before you take the second leg. Are you confident that you'll go over there and be able to finish the job?
Yeah, obviously I'm confident because we go there with a 1-0 lead, but that can be wiped out in seconds, as we saw tonight with the penalty. You know, the game can go on a knife edge. We need to perform well. We need to show the same energy. Before that, we need to focus on the league and make sure we get a good result at the weekend. But look, they're a dangerous opponent. They've got good players. It's important that we take our chances, because I believe their chances will come next week, and we need to be more decisive. It's something that I've said quite a few times as a Rangers manager now. But the amount of chances we created today through good play, you're hoping that your strikers show a little bit more composure on their last shot.
And it's going to be a different game out there, obviously, on their own turf. They're going to have a full stadium, a game, obviously, that means a lot to them as well.
Yeah, but there'll be more spaces for us then to run behind, maybe, and more spaces, and they'll have to take more risks, so the game will open up. It'll be a completely different game in their stadium. But, you know, another week in Cifuentes' legs, it was nice to give him his debut tonight, and the people playing at the tempo that I want us to play at and running forward more often. We looked a good side tonight.
What did you learn about them that you can then take into the second leg in terms of trying to help you get that job finished?
Extremely well coached team, fantastic organisation, mentality of that team that we played against tonight is excellent. So this is going to be a hugely tough game. It starts again, and it's a game where we're going to have to be at our best.
And obviously you want to get that sharpness. You want to get your strikers up and running. Is that just about game time, doing it in training as well? What do you do to try and get them up to peak fitness?
Naturally, with other than Sam, Cyril and Danilo came in late, so they're not 100%, broken up pre-seasons with their moves and different niggles and stuff like that. So you could see tonight after an hour they were a little bit leggy. But listen, we've got other players who are chomping at the bit to go, so another few days in their legs, they'll be better for it. But I've got no doubt it was great to see Cyril score his first goal tonight. Sam will wonder how he didn't score. And we know with Danny tonight was maybe trying a little bit too hard, but we know he's a quality player.
Thanks for your time, appreciate it, thank you.
Michael Beale there, Derek, a fair assessment of what we witnessed this evening?
I would think so. Again, it's got to take the positives from tonight. Yeah, it was a great start to the game. I've already said that, Kenny. You know, they started on fire. Cantwell was everywhere. The race into that 2-goal lead. And Lammers, you know, what an opportunity it is. And you just think of Rangers get that third goal, you know, yeah, they killed the tie. They go in and maybe score 4 or 5 goals tonight. But this is a side, this Servette side that, you know, don't go away, you know, show, as Michael Beale said, a great mentality. They've got a brilliant attitude to the game. They go down to 10 men and they still work their socks off. They've got a real physicality about them. Mm-hmm. The only thing I would disagree with what Michael says, I don't think they will change that much. Again, it'll be 4-4-2. They'll not be too clever in the aspects of the game. They get the ball forward. They don't try and play through the midfield. If they win free kicks, they just deliver balls into the box. And, you know, obviously they got the rewards, obviously, with Dessert, you know, that handball, which a sore one for us. But I don't think they'll change too much. I just think they'll hope that when they get their opportunity, they'll be able to take it. So we're in for a real tough night. It's going to be a real physical battle. But Rangers have got to be better in terms of, if we're going to keep probing, playing this style of football through the middle of the park, you know, we've got to be far slicker. I just think, and that's why I'm a bit disappointed tonight, certainly. But Barisic, well, he basically blew a gasket, you know, in the last 10-15 minutes. He'd ran his race, and I just think with Tavernier as well at times, I'd like to just see him get forward a little bit more and, you know, maybe try and get to that byline and get crosses, because that's where we were effective tonight. You know, the 2 goals, the first half, left-hand side, the chance for Lammers, second half, it was a brilliant ball from Tavernier down this right-hand side. So I think we needed more of that, but we were more inclined to just try and play those little kind of intricate 1-2s, little kind of clever balls through the middle of the park, which weren't coming off. Plus their keeper did he made a couple of top, and one was just outstanding. It was outstanding. Well, I was actually on my feet. I thought it was in the back of the net. So it was, as Kenny said, with his some pinky that goalkeeper. But no, they're going to be a tough cookie to crack over in Switzerland, and that's where you kind of look at the all aspects of the game. I love to see, like, you know, free flowing, silky football, but you got to admire that Servette side, because they dig in and they show a great appetite and a great attitude to the game. So Rangers will get their work cut out.
Well, another side that show great appetite, that dig in, well organised. Livingston, they are here at the weekend. David Martindale was sitting behind us this evening. He has given Rangers a very tough experience on a few occasions recently, so back to league business, and they've got to get their title aspirations back on track on Saturday, Kenny.
Yep, nothing less than 3 points is required. Again, it'll be at home, in front of an expectant crowd, and they'll be coming here again, like you said, looking to get their league title charge on the way, and, you know, and get it started. It was a real it's not the start anybody would have been hoping for that's involved with Rangers, whether it be staff, players or fans. So they need to get it underway on Saturday. They need to win well. But the one thing's for sure, like you say, Livingston will be set up. They'll have seen how Kilmarnock have done it. They'll have seen how Servette have been able to defend for long spells tonight with a man down and keep Rangers at bay. So there's a blueprint there. Davy Martindale's already got his own blueprint because he's had success, he's had wins, he's had draws, whether it be at Livingston or here at Ibrox. He's had good results and he's had good performances from his team, so he'll know exactly what he'll be watching, but he'll be here tonight to see it live, to see these new faces, to see if there's anything that he needs to take back to Livingston and make his players aware of. But what he'll be coming away with, he'll be coming here on Saturday confident that if his team do their jobs, that they can make life hard for Rangers. And this is what we've said right at the start of tonight. It's up to Rangers to go and take the game. You know, they need to go make it happen. They need players that are going to stand up and take their moments, you know, and that is it, because nobody's going to hand anything to you. You know, you're going to have to earn it. And you might think coming to play for Rangers, the big club, and against the smaller ones, it might be a little bit easier. If anything, it's harder, because you need to work ever so hard on the ball as well as off the ball to create these openings, to pull them out of position so you can then go and exploit it and create chances. And that's something, they did have 2 or 3 really good chances tonight. They never on Saturday, you know, so they've got it all to do. But they've definitely got a long way to go. That's for sure. But there is a lot more improvement and more to come in this team. I've no doubt
Kenny,
about it.
You spoke about leaders early on, I think even before the game. You know, Cantwell, you know, he led by example. We needed that. You know, Rangers needed that tonight, you know, because I think the appetite, he's so infectious, allied with the quality that he's got, that rubs off on other players round about him. But we need more of that. You know, in that first 25 minutes, 30 minutes, you know, you can't keep up that level of football or that level of running that he was doing.
But they had to come out like that tonight. They had to come out with that attitude, that aggression, that intensity tonight.
But then that's when you want the rest of the players to take up that mantle, you know, and do their little bit. And that's how it feels. I know Rangers have won, and you look at the positives, but you know it could have been so much better, and that's why you come away just a little bit, you know, kind of disappointed.
Full coverage of all the domestic action on Sportsound from 2 o'clock on Saturday. Let's wrap things up in this European match tonight. Let's hear the thoughts of the Servette manager, René Villers. He's also been speaking with Jane Lewis.
You must go into the second leg full of confidence after that display, do you not?
Yes, but it will be again very difficult because it's a tough opponent. But after the red card and the 2 goals early in the game is a good result, and we go in the second leg with some hope.
Your team show a lot of resilience, don't they? Again, you're playing with 10 men for much of the match. How much confidence does that give you going into the second leg? You know, obviously with an extra man on the pitch, the right number of men on the pitch, you could actually finish the job.
Okay, it could be a little bit more of confidence, but I prefer to play with 11 players. And we got 2 goals at the beginning with 11 players, so at the end they defend well, but I prefer to play with 11 players.
Just finally, how big a result would it be if you were able to beat Rangers over on your own ground? You're going to have a full house at 30,000, I think, our spectators are going to be there. It's a big moment for you, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a big moment for Geneva, for our team, but it's a tough opponent and it will be hard again in Geneva, and we will try the best to pass, but I know that it will be a big challenge for us.
Thanks for your time, appreciate it. Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's certainly game on. Full coverage from Geneva next Tuesday evening on BBC. Scotland should be an absolute cracker. Rangers going to that second leg with a narrow 2-1 advantage after the first leg of this Champions League qualifier here this evening at Ibrox. My thanks to Kenny Miller. My thanks also to Derek Ferguson. Sportson is back on Saturday with all the domestic action. We'll look back on the European games. There are 2 games tomorrow night, of course. Hearts and Hibs also in European action. So we'll look back on that and we'll build up to the big 3 o'clock kickoffs right across the country on Saturday. For now, though, it's good night from all of us here on the Sportsound team.